looks like Saved by the Bell, which is totally okay. It's just the music sucks. 15 seconds. How are you? Me, I'm fine. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Live in conjunction with Lock TV and Raw Live Studios. It's the Dames Marvs Show. With Frankie J. And here's your host, Dames Marvs.
If you ask me to, I just might change my mind and let you in my life for it. Oh, we're live. Okay. Welcome back to the Dames Marvs Show. Ben, do you recognize what's behind me?
No.
You don't? Oh, buddy, it's going to be a long show. It's going to be a long show for you.
It usually is.
Because we're definitely yellow. That's true too. We do put you through the gauntlet. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen tuning in, you can see this is not Frankie J. This is Ben Shrewsbury, who's been with. This is your 4th consecutive episode, Ben?
Third or fourth, one of the two.
And you'll be here on Friday as well?
As far as I know, I mean, I'm here until you tell me not to be, frankly.
All right, that works.
And maybe even a little bit beyond that, like that one guy from Office Space who just keeps showing up even after they tell him not to.
There's an episode of Seinfeld where Kramer goes to work despite not being hired or paid. All right, guys. I have some questions. All right, I've been doing a little bit of research, and I've found out that I'm supposed to have my guest already up here when we go live, because those of you tuning in to see the guest specifically may be upset that the guest isn't, that I have to bring them into the show. I vehemently disagree with this. I guess I didn't ask the guest. I should have done that. Should have been like, are you okay with this atrocity that we're committing against you by pulling you up after we've done an introduction? It just doesn't make sense to me, dude. Like, if I saw that, like, Mark Ruffalo, Janine Garofalo, and Pearl Jam were going to be on Jimmy Kimmel, I wouldn't expect them all to be on Jimmy Kimmel the moment I turned it on. In fact, I kind of expect a monologue of sorts. So, this is a thing. Like, I don't necessarily agree with having to do everything that they say you do. And Matt Geiler, who we had on this show, is out there preaching his nonconformist methodology. And I am here for it, my friends. But I definitely don't want to ever insult the guests. Here's another one. We have a guest on Friday that I'm compelled to not bring up until after our current guest. Why is that? Most people are watching now as opposed to the end of the show. Why would I wait to the end of the show when presumably everybody's left to tell you who's going to be here Friday? It's all internal struggles. And we're here one episode away from being the end of season 1, which is 10 episodes. Then we're going to retool, figure some things out, and come back better than ever. But what I want to get to first is, Ben, we have already spoken with the guest. I can see him sitting in there in the green room, waiting to get on the show. And so we're going to go through all the hoopla, sports nonsense. I did have one thing that I have to bring up before we bring him up. Is that cool with you?
Your show, pal.
Well, I got to make a correction, because when AJ Chambers was on the show, it was, what's her name? Gina Davis's birthday. And I made a comment that I believed that she was part of the first ever lesbian kiss on television on the Roseanne show. And I biffed it. I was completely wrong. That did happen. March 1st, 1994, Roseanne goes dancing at a gay club called Lips, which is hilarious. for a female gay club with her sister Jackie, just to try and be cool, to prove that she's cool. And their friend Nancy, played by Sandra Bernhardt, who kind of looks like Gina Davis, but really there's no excuse for somebody that is so ingrained in movies as me to have made that mistake. But I want to apologize. It was Sandra Bernhardt. It was Mariel Hemingway. Lesbian kiss with Roseanne on television in '94. So we've got the record clear. How do you feel now?
That's a mistake I'd expect to make because I just, one, I never watched the show, and two, I don't know.
All right. Do you know what state this is? Take a guess.
No.
You don't? All right. We'll come back to it. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a guest. We always have a guest, but this guest I'm really excited about because we're not particularly friends. I'd like to say in like the 5 minutes we kind of became friends, but I've known him. I've met him. I've known of him, and going through his Facebook page last night, I'm basically like, this guy is me if I was doing everything that I wanted to do with my life. So for that reason, Ben, I'm going to introduce to you and to the public watching producer, director, and audiovisual sorcerer, Aaron Gum. Please welcome Aaron to the platform.
Greetings.
Woo! How you doing, sir?
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, dude. This is awesome.
Okay.
I have not mastered the art of having that ready to go.
There we go. Yes.
Need that. Where is that?
But you know, we're a new show. Like we're figuring it out, right? You are in Iowa, Nebraska.
Yes, I'm in one of those states.
We're not going to dox him. He's in one of those states. Maybe he's in the river. Maybe he's in the middle of the river.
Maybe he's on an island somewhere near Fiji.
Yeah, Fiji's nice this time of year, I'm sure. Better than Omaha.
Does sound better.
I just give it away.
Busted. All right. Do you, sir, recognize what's behind me?
I do.
Would you tell the young man what this is?
That would be a hedge maze.
Yes, and this particular hedge maze, Ben, comes from a 1980 film, the greatest film of all time, in my opinion. The only one, in fact, that I've ever rated 100 on. I'm a movie critic. That's what I do, folks. This show is for show.
Also, my carpet in my studio is from the same.
Yes, and like you would, and we'll get to this story in a second, but this is the hedge maze from The Shining, 1980. Jack Nicholson died somewhere right about. I have no idea. I'm just making that up. But that would be pretty cool if somebody could point that out where he possibly died at.
Well, I mean, if you follow the shots and then Danny backing up,
somewhere about.
Yeah, you could probably figure it out. There's, the truth is out there.
I'm sure there's a YouTube documentary on exactly where it happened.
There probably is. There's so many documentaries, and
there are several feature documentaries just on
YouTube clips of The Shining. It's probably one of the most dissected films of all time. And Aaron, he sent me a text message coming into the show that said, "Ooh, what should I wear on this show?" And then I was like, "What a bizarre question." I didn't say anything. And then like 10 seconds later, it says, "Haha, meant to send that to my girlfriend."
Yeah. I was like,
and I was like, you know what? I have ideas. And he was probably thinking that was a joke, but I really did have a Shining shirt.
If it was something that I had, I have the Shining pattern in shirt form, sweater form, cardigan form, blanket form, towel form.
Well, that brings up an
towel
interesting...
form?
I do, yeah. Somewhere around here in the other room there, I got a towel.
Well, let me ask you this, Mr. Gum.
Yes, sir.
Have you obtained these yet?
I believe I have those, yes.
All right.
I don't think I've actually read them, but I had to get. It's one of those things where it's like, well, I kind of have to. You got to have the whole set, right?
You know, it's funny. That's one of the pictures that I pulled from your Facebook that I was like, probably not going to end up using this one, but I want to have it at the ready just in case. And lo and behold, here we are, 10 minutes into the show, and
Yes.
we
Or
used
as
it.
AJ Chambers says here, nothing at all.
You're right. So, okay,
All right.
Can we talk about your love of The Shining?
Um.
Where does that come from? Where does it rank for you? Like I told you, I'm not kidding. This is the all-time greatest film for me
Well,
ever.
and from you, I believe it.
Yes.
I don't know. That's a tough one because it's one of those things where it's like, as you learn about film and 80s films in general like that, it's kind of hard to ignore that one. And there's so many various points that various avenues of what I do and who I am kind of reconnect to that. Like Wendy Carlos doing the score for that. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Wendy Carlos. As you see, I'm surrounded by modular synthesizers, and she was absolutely a pioneer in using the modular synthesizer as an instrument, and especially as soundtrack instrument for like Clockwork Orange and Tron and The Shining and so on and so on. So I don't know exactly where my first connection to The Shining would have happened.
Can I ask you? This is a personal question. How old are you, sir? I just want to how close we are.
Well, that's do I guess how old do you think I am?
I would say 42 is my guess.
Well, thank you. Would you believe considerably older than that? More like 49. Can you believe that?
Oh wow. Okay, so I'm 47, so we're
Yeah, not
pretty
that far
close. So you had. Oh man, yeah. So we're right in the age range. Yeah,
You
I don't
both
remember
almost
my
double
first.
me up still.
I know you're just a youngin. It's all right though. I mean, we're just gonna die first. That's
What?
we're gonna die first. I mean, that's all good.
I mean, we're really only about like 26 minutes at any point in time of all kind of like dying together in the same thermonuclear cloud.
That's true.
It's true.
Ben he's in Minneapolis. I'm in Iowa.
Okay, well, maybe
So
a
we're all
different thermonuclear cloud, but we'll certainly all be in the same fallout.
right.
Well-
We're all gonna have extra limbs from some of this.
Oh, that'd be kind of fun.
Okay, so I can't remember my first experience with The Shining either, but I remember that for a long time, Shawshank Redemption was my number one film of all time, and The Shining slowly overtook it, and the reason for that is every time I watch it, I come away with a different feeling, a different experience, and I don't in any way think that everybody should think this is the greatest film of all time. I just happen to.
Right, you're right. Yeah.
So, but what is your favorite film of all time, if you've got one?
And that's a good question. I should have been more prepared for that question because after watching AJ last week, I knew that you would probably ask that. And I don't know. I mean, it really depends on when you ask me that. I mean, on most days, I'd probably say Videodrome. On some days, maybe I'd say Shining. And on other days, maybe I'd throw out something completely different like Todd Solondz's Happiness.
Nice. Well,
I have
that's a
not
great
seen
answer.
any of those, but coming from you, I'll probably watch them all.
You probably should, yes.
Yes. I always kind of do go back and especially if it's something I haven't reviewed yet, then I'll definitely put a review out on it and see where we can go from there. I want to answer this real quick. Yep, they're a regular time tonight. We'll be covering coaching hires, the championship games, and of course the Super Bowl. Thank you for asking. Sorry for that, sir. Didn't want to push that out too far because I don't know how long. John Haberman 6182 will be tuning into this. All right, so producer, director, audio visual sourcer. This is what I found. And I was looking and it seems like there is one word that comes up for me when I'm doing the IMDb search, and that is stuck. Can you tell me? Because I have no other frame of reference other than that's what predominantly makes up your IMDb page. That
Yeah.
and that you want to eat your weight in chicken wings.
Yeah, I will say this. I know of that chicken wing thing that you're talking about. I have no idea how that happened. I don't know who did that. That was not me.
But
I, you know,
do you like watch? He's gonna be like, I'm a vegetarian, bro.
no, no. I mean, no. Don't get me wrong. I will totally eat my own weight in chicken wings.
Fair
But
enough.
I mean, it might take me a few days or weeks or months or even my year. But no, I don't know who put that thing. What was is that? That's on my IMDb description page or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know who put that up there.
I'll read it to you. Let me read it to you.
No. I've read it myself. Somebody actually asked me about that, and I was like, "What?"
Well, for the guests, here's what it says. Andrew grew up in Iowa with mysteriously curly hair. A man of action, he likes cameras and synthesizers. He has directed over 1 million music videos, give or take 999,813. Aaron has many aspirations, such as his love for hot wings, and one day wishes to eat his weight in them. That would be an exercise of self control, as he usually eats much more than that. End quote. You don't know who wrote that?
I have no idea.
That's
now
phenomenal.
I want to know who wrote that. Now I just want to know. Like, can we do an investigation deep dive on that?
I mean, I do have mysteriously curly hair. I am a man of action. The music video counts off by about the amount that it says in there, but yeah, I don't know. I have theories, but nobody that I'm going to get into at the moment here on the live on here. But since you asked about Stuck, my first feature directorial debut was, well, at the time it was called Bent Over Neil, and then we made this film based off of a short 2-man play, and then towards the end we realized, oh gosh, we should soften up the tone a little bit, make it a little more palatable for a broader audience. So that it became Stuck on Neil, and we reshot like 20 minutes of footage, and then eventually that became season 1 of the Stuck web series, and then it's been out of my hands since then. And I believe the Stuck web series just ended after 3 or 4 seasons, but I haven't been following too closely because I always keeping busy with other things, and not really following what's going on. But I believe the Stuck web series might be available somewhere online. I honestly have no idea where you even go to find it anymore.
Yeah, Stuck on Neil goes back to 2014, and then you have Stuck 2019 with 1 episode, and then 11 episodes in 2024. So
basically I get directorial credit for the first season of that series, since I effectively directed the film, and it was then kind of cut up into like that. And we did shoot, I think, a few extra scenes to kind of tie that into the overall story of where the web series took it. And I appear at some point in one of the, I think in season 3 of the web series, but I don't know.
All right. Is your hair mysteriously curly, or do you know? I mean, I can see that it's curly, but do you look at like the rest of your family and be like, yeah, this is wacky?
Yeah, there's certainly a deeper story there, but yes, absolutely. Growing up, I was like, my hair is much more curlier than everybody else in my family, and I'm sure there's a good story in there somewhere.
Well, here's what I imagined this 20 years from now. You're going to peel off a layer of face that looks like your face anyway, and you're going to be like, I had surgery to make myself look 20 years older, but your hair will be the same as it is, only it will be white. And Doc Brown, I mean, do you find yourself merging into the Doc Brown character as life progresses for you?
I mean, more and more into like a cantankerous mad scientist, absolutely. Doc Brown in particular, not necessarily. I mean, for one, I've yet to perfect time travel.
Well, it's funny you say that, because I was also like, this guy better never hang a clock over the toilet in his bathroom,
Right.
because That is where time. That's where the idea for the flux capacitor comes from.
It is. Although I do have a clock over my toilet. And it's like a Homer Simpson clock where he has like a, like eyes moving back and forth looking at a donut.
That's
Perfect.
genius.
Sounds
That's
like something that
fantastic.
I want. Dude. Okay, so a lot of people watching this, including Ben, are probably like, "Why are you hammering on Back to the Future so hard?" Well, you guys may or may not know this, but you have a DeLorean, do you not?
I no longer have the DeLorean. That's sold that a while back.
Okay, but you had one.
I had one, yeah.
I'm imagining it was because you were a super fan of the film.
Well, you don't buy it for the performance early '80s automotive ties, because it's an interesting.
Do you miss it? Do you miss it at all?
I do, but the problem with it is that once you have it, it's like you have it in music videos, you have it in like short films and stuff. Yeah, I had it in one of AJ's films, and then but most of the time it's sitting in the garage, and the problem with something sitting in the garage is kind of like rotting away. Is then when you go to turn it on, it doesn't always start up, and there've been times where I would want to use it for a project. I was had an Adult Swim here once like that, and we did a little tour of the house, and then afterwards we were gonna do a little drive in the DeLorean like that, and couldn't get it started. Then you like watch it, it's like, okay, they obviously fake that, like, oh shucks, my DeLorean's not starting, but it's like, no, it's like, I can just give me one more.
All right, if you were going to build a time machine, what vehicle would you use? What would you choose?
Honestly, a DeLorean.
I think it's the perfect time travel vehicle. I'm gonna be. It's perfect.
And the stainless steel does help with the quantum flux dispersal. But the fun thing with that is people be like, "Where's your flux capacitor?" Because they always ask that. That's right. So then you can like,
course.
"It's right here," and then you be like, "See you in the future," and then just take off, and then like find them like 20 years in the future, and they're like, "How'd you do that?" And they'll be like, that's when I need to peel my face off. But then I realize I don't need to peel my face off because it's me from now moving into the future and not
Correct.
me from the future. Correct. So, and then I have to go to the hospital and get my face stitched back up. So,
dude, my mind is just, because there's so much that I've just discovered in the last 2 days about you, that my mind is literally shutting down with all of the information I want to get to. But
all right, breathe.
Okay, so there was a picture. I didn't pull it, but it had the Wild Gunman video game.
Oh yeah.
Next to a hoverboard, next to the jacket. Are these items that you owned, or was that a picture of you at a museum? And that's the only reason I didn't pull it.
Oh no, that's in my basement. I made the Wild Gunman arcade machine, and when you see the movie Back to the Future 2, for those that are wondering like what movie they're talking about somehow, there's a scene where he plays Wild Gunman with, I believe,
Wood.
Yeah.
His birthday is today. He's 45.
Wow.
He's
what a
today.
small, crazy, weird world, huh?
But what if I would have just went with him?
There
You'd have been like, what the fuck? Why does he just have random pictures of Elijah Wood ready to go?
Or more like, it's like, wow, I'm not the only one.
Right. I already went ahead in time, and I knew that you were going to say that, so I pulled the pictures that I knew that I would need.
But there was never actually a Wild Gunman arcade machine. But it existed on the Play Choice 10 hardware, which is basically the arcade version of an NES console. But it's as an actual arcade machine, like he would have, played in the movie, that didn't exist. What it is it's a Donkey Kong cabinet painted black with Play Choice 10's artwork on the side, or excuse me, with the Versus artwork on the side and the Versus control panel, but playing a Play Choice 10 game. So I basically created a Wild Gunman machine exactly as you see it in the movie, but you running off of the actual real Play Choice 10 arcade hardware. And I made it, and then I showed a picture to a family that I know in town that also owns a DeLorean, and they were like, "Wow, that's awesome! Can you make another one?" And I was like, "I spent months and months scouring eBay and arcade things." It's like, all right, you've got a Play Choice 10 arcade board. Okay, cool. You've got this particular side panel. All right, and you've got this. All right, cool. I can get all these things and assemble it. Now I've got to make another one. So I did, And
You know
so
what you
there's
should have said? You should have said, "Why do you want that? It's like a baby's toy."
well, I would. But you'll have to stop over sometime and definitely check out the whole house is basically an arcade, and then the basement is like the Nintendo row, like Donkey Kong, Popeye, and oh yeah, there's a
That is so cool.
This is like, I couldn't. I mean, I couldn't get an entire. I mean, yeah, dude, it's ridiculous. Like, and by ridiculous, I mean totally fucking awesome, right? This is maybe one wall, and then going to the back
yeah,
wall.
and that's an older picture. I mean, things get moved around as new machines come in. Everything kind of gets cycled and rotated. But yeah,
Just a,
that's
just a total nerd question for you about the arcade stuff. Do those boards go bad as easily as everybody says they used to?
you mean the like the CRT monitors?
No, like the motherboards these arcade machines used to run on.
Boards. Oh, I thought you said the bulbs. Okay, and I was like bulbs. You mean like there's bulbs in the
No, the boards.
the marquee bulbs absolutely do go bad. That's kind of sucks. And yeah, they can. The thing to remember with like arcade machines is that if something was made in like 1983 or whatever, they didn't make it at the time to exist 45 years later. They existed it to run, nonstop in a commercial setting for maybe a 6 or 18 month cycle, and then the next game would be moved in. So a lot of times the capacitors are drying out on the boards, or things are just moving a little bit out of spec, or the EPROMs start to kind of get a little bit rot or something. So they absolutely do go bad, and that's kind of part of the hobby is keeping them maintained and running.
Well, I have and this is a total other point here, but I watch a lot of channels that like restore those old boards on YouTube because restoring those boards has become a hobby in and of itself now.
Yeah.
Aside from just the arcade stuff, like the arcade stuff is one hobby, and then the board restoration is like a whole nother thing.
There usually is, and I'm like just skilled enough usually with a soldering iron to kind of like fix easy things, but like also to I can still like completely mess up board stuff, and I've had that happen before, and it sucks. It's like, man, like between the patience and just the right equipment running at the right temperature, and then like modern stuff is all like SSD, and you need like a completely different way to work with that. I mean, I've fixed like pinball boards and put it back in, and then you're like, hey, it's working, and then you hit the shot that that fits the switch to the transistor that you just replaced, and it literally explodes out of the machine, and be like, okay,
maybe not.
I'll fix it one more time, and if it doesn't work, I'm gonna either just buy the replacement board or send it off to get fixed. And I've had to get my Tron board. I had to send that off to get repaired by a guy that specializes just on those boards, the MCR boards like that Tron would have been on in the day.
Those things would there's a reason they only had a 6 to 18 month life cycle, besides the fact that they were cycling games in and out like crazy. It was, these things were not built to last. They were built to work for the amount of time they worked for, and that was it.
But that being said, I mean, if something's well maintained and if the voltages are good, I mean, voltages are a big one. You send the power supply. Sometimes the older like Atari power supplies would fail in a way that now you're moving like 60 volts onto like a 5-volt line. So all of your memory board, memory chips would just pop out of there. Not necessarily pop, but they could. But as long as something's well maintained and the voltages are correct, it can still be quite solid, and especially in a home environment. Like I don't have any games on right now. I mean, if we were hanging out downstairs, I might go and flip them all on, but they're not running like 24/7 if I'm not down there, playing them. So
yeah, that would be a waste.
The thing is that can be the other the other problem is then like you power things up, and now like some of like 40-year-old contacts, like like the little Molex connectors that can plug into pins. Sometimes there's just enough corrosion on there to where you're not using it for a while, and the resistance builds up, and you flip it on, and then it's like, oh, there's too much resistance here. We're just going to shut down the board, and then you have to chase down, well, why is this game not working? And it's part of the hobby.
It's like working with old 80s computers. That's really what it is.
You have all of these games. Are you aware of Walter Day? And of course you are.
Yes. I've, I've I've met Walter Day a couple times, at like arcade auctions and stuff. Really nice guy. There's a picture of me actually on Facebook that if you look up Walter Day, maybe you'll find. I don't know.
He's one of the nicest men I've ever met.
He is, and the fact that he's just like this, so central to video games. Yeah, if you look up Walter Day Aaron Gum, you'll find there's a picture of me with him, from about 2018.
We'll get it.
But yeah, no, he's such a nice guy, and it's like he's so important to the video game industry and the idea of like competitive video gaming, and it's just in ways that kind of boggle the mind. Like it's
look where competitive gaming is now. I mean,
Ottumwa, Iowa was at one point like literally the center of arcades and video games in the 80s.
For sure.
And it's just now we have some of those.
But it all comes back to what King of Kong.
Yep. Yeah.
That's where he became pretty big on the scene. With I remember one of the times that I spoke to him, he's like, "Do you want me to call Billy?" I'm like, he's like, no. He's like, we'll call him right now. I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna say to the ultimate villain. I'm like, I'm from Washington State. I'm a Steve Wiebe guy, dude. I don't want to.
Right.
I don't need to talk to Billy Mitchell, but I met him a couple times after that. And he's very palatable in person. He's
Are you talking about guy. Billy Mitchell?
Yeah.
I have not met Billy Mitchell actually in person, but
he's like 6'5".
Yeah. I mean,
I know a lot of people who have met Billy Mitchell, and you're the only person I've ever heard say he's palatable.
I mean, I met him in Kansas City once with my girlfriend, and he gave us a bunch of free shit. And I mean, there was no reason for him to do that. He was there,
This is a positive Billy Mitchell story. Can't say I've ever heard that. First time for everything, I guess.
Start here, folks. Hey, wow. Okay.
There's the hot sauce.
I was going to ask if you tried the sauce, but I see you actually have some.
Signed by Walter and Billy. Both. Yeah, I love those guys. And I figure anybody with an arcade collection, especially a guy wearing a Q*bert shirt, would know who Walter Day is for sure.
I didn't even see that with the Q*bert shirt. I would have said something about that before the show even started.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, you chose wisely.
Also, if you haven't seen The Long and Twisted Tale of Nibbler, or Nibbler, A Long and Twisted Tale,
yes,
definitely check that out too.
Yeah, that was came after a couple years after the King of Kong.
Yeah. Have you seen it?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love all those types of documentaries. And my brother, who's may or may not be watching right now, he's in a band with Ryan Osbar, who I know is watching.
Oh.
Because
Ryan.
he loves you. And I love him. So he will be a guest on the show. He was ill when we spoke about it, but he has agreed to do it at some point in February, maybe March. Yes. Okay. Sorry, I was getting caught up on the comments over there. So, can we go through a couple? There's a lot that I want to get to. You working with some people that I've worked with, but I did go through your Facebook page and I yanked a couple photos that I'm like, I need some more context for this.
Aaron's face when you said that was exactly the face I would have made. So, like, oh God, what the hell?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't pull anything like risque. Like, what are you doing here, sir? No, there wasn't a ton of food pictures, which I always look for that because I'm fat. I like food, right? And I like to cook and I like to post pictures of it. I think I saw a key lime pie, and then I was like, "This is my bro, dude. This is my bro." This is Indian food, you guys.
Oh yeah.
And it looks like you got some chicken masala, maybe.
Yeah, was that?
And then some butter chicken.
I think that's from Flavors downtown.
Oh my god! I was like, this guy likes Indian food.
Well,
We're
who
both,
doesn't?
dude. Here's the thing, folks. Indian food is probably, and I'm not going to make Aaron stand with me on this, but it is probably the most delicious type of food on planet Earth.
Yeah.
I don't know that you could eat it every day, but I could. It is unbelievably flavorful. People are worried about the spice. Even, dude, they can make vegetarian food awesome.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And they do. Like, you could go eat an entire vegetarian meal of Indian food and not feel slighted in the least if you're a meat person. And so I saw that. I don't know that you really need to explain it, but just the fact that I saw this on there, I was like, this is a dude. Like, I will come to Omaha and I will take you out to Indian food because that's how we'll jam.
Are you in Omaha now, or are you in Seattle?
No, I live just outside of Ames,
Oh,
Iowa,
okay.
just north of Des Moines.
Well, come on down to Omaha. You get the whole arcade tour, and we can get some Indian.
Oh yes,
So-
I'm planning a trip down there during this break that I'm going to take after Friday to retool some things. I may reach out to you and be like, all right, I got to see this.
Briefly going back to
Because
the
my
arcade
team's in the
thing.
Super Bowl, and I gotta be able to watch the Super Bowl with my bro in Omaha, Council Bluffs.
Briefly going back to the arcade thing,
Do
just
it.
because I'm a gamer. I stream video games on Twitch. That's what I do besides this, other than Two Marks. So, like, those are my three main things: is gaming, wrestling, and this show. So, I'm fascinated by arcades because they predate me in so many ways. But you watch enough documentaries, you get the kind of picture. They were, at the time, just to give context for anybody that wasn't around or wasn't a kid at the time, they were what video games are now to kids. If you weren't going to the arcade on the weekend, you were kind of seen as weird. Am I wrong?
Well, no, you're not wrong. I mean, I think especially depending on what circles you were in. But I mean, we all have, at least we all of this particular age have memories of like the first arcades that we would have been in. Mine would have been at the Midlands Mall in Council Bluffs, Iowa.
God. What's
They
there
were
now?
everywhere too.
What's there now?
The entire mall stopped being a mall when I was probably in like maybe early high school or late junior high school, and then became kind of like a business complex or something. But
Lame.
within my teenage years, like that arcade was no longer a thing, and then like the new mall, which is now no longer a mall, now it's a Menards of all things.
A
Well-
Menards?
Well, they eventually tore them. Like kept adding on things to the mall, and then like taking things out, and then eventually it just kind of was no longer a mall, and then eventually it was. Now there's a giant Menards there. Yeah, I haven't been inside the Menards if you're wondering, but
I mean, every Menards, if you've been inside of one, you've been inside all of them. I mean,
well, this one looks rather large though. It looks bigger than the average Menards.
Well, you have apparently the best arcade in Omaha now. So
he might have the only arcade in Omaha, to be fair.
Well, no, there's first off, there's a couple commercial ones that you can go to, like Beercade 2, and not Starcade, Draftcade, the new one, which I haven't been in Draftcade yet. But the guys who opened it up are from Kansas City. My buddy Leon bought a Street Fighter machine from them. Like really nice guys, really into arcades like that. They have a lot of like the older machines, like the Man Eaters, like that, like the Jaws games, like the unofficial, unlicensed Jaws games from the '70s, and Computer Space. Do you know about Computer Space?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have. They actually have a couple of different Computer Space in a couple of different colors. Like the first coin-operated video game. It was just like ran off of like transistor logic. It wasn't even like microprocessors. It's all just
That
yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm a nerd. This is all really cool to me. Damon's probably bored as shit.
Well, no, let's not forget about Dave and Buster's, and of course the place Ben can't stand outside of, Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah. Okay. Then there's those. Yeah, and then there's
But those aren't arcades. Those are like
It's kind of they have
kitty
games.
casinos.
Kitty.
yeah, that's a good
casinos.
way to describe them. Kitty casinos. Yeah, that's
Which
really
again
what they are
is
now.
Is why Ben.
Also, like,
Damon,
It's
Sorry.
amazing pizza machine. They've got a lot. They've got some of the old.
Ben, it's
classics.
either you or the guest, so I'm obviously.
You could make fun of yourself. That's what I do.
Oh yeah, but that doesn't work for me. I can. I'm sorry. You're right. That was inappropriate.
Anyway, so like
There we go.
you're
This one.
so good with all these arcade things. Are you still kind of a newer tech nerd too, or is this mostly just a interest in older arcade machines, and that's kind of where your interest in tech stops?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've done some tech-ish stuff. I mean, I've built a few modules. I mean, you can't see them on here like that, but there's a few modules up there that I built from kits, and a few modules back in that corner there that are now covered up like that I built from kits like that. But I think with the arcade stuff, it's one of those things where as a kid, you're always like, man, if I could have an arcade, like in the movies and TV shows in the 80s, occasionally they would show like, oh, look at this kid. Like, this kid's so rich, like he's got a pinball machine, or they've got an arcade machine, or you'd go to like a Saved by the Bell, and they're, hanging out, and okay, now here's a row of arcade machines like that and stuff. And there's always somebody in the background playing it, but the plot would never happen, take you close enough to really see what's on the game. So I think it was the idea is that it'd be kind of fun to have an arcade machine. So I got one, and then I got another one, and then another one, and another one.
And then it turned into a whole thing, and now it's just your house.
Now it's my house, yeah. Ugh.
I mean, sorry, it all just fascinates me beyond belief.
Aaron, do you know what state this is?
Is that Massachusetts?
Oh, you're close. You're very close.
Massachusetts is a little more like a line.
Okay,
Starts with
yeah.
an M. It does start with an M.
An M.
Is it,
Well, let's see.
is it Mississippi?
No.
No, that's not Mississippi. And there's
Yeah,
not that,
you dumbhead.
there's not that many other M states besides like Michigan and North Virginia.
North Virginia?
Dude, I
Huh?
want to move to North Virginia now.
North Virginia, yeah.
It's not Missouri,
not Missouri.
not Mississippi.
It's not Minnesota,
closer to
because I live there and I know what that
Massachusetts.
looks like.
Well, now you got to tell us, what state is that?
That's Maryland. That is Maryland.
Maryland.
That is, yeah.
My
Maryland.
next guess was Maine. What?
Maine is way different looking than that. That is Maryland.
Yeah, I
guess
suppose.
I don't really know the northeastern.
Oh,
states.
AJ had it, but I spoiled it before, but he had it. Good job,
Huh.
AJ. Way to Google it, you motherfucker. All right. So, speaking of AJ Chambers, this is a guy that we know in common. He was just on the show. He was great on the show. Love him. Gonna be back. How do you know AJ Chambers, and what have you done with this gentleman?
Well,
I have one thing that we can talk about. If you want to start here.
yes, Babezilla versus the Cyberskinks, Rise of Mecha Babezilla.
Where can
Although I
people
don't know if
find
I'm-
this first?
Well, if they can find the soundtrack on Bandcamp, Spotify, any place that streams stuff. Deezer, it's on Deezer now. What's a Deezer? I'm still not really fully sure, but I'm told by Surreal that it's a great service for DJs, especially for actually.
These are nuts.
Exactly, it's
What?
a great setup for that joke. But I don't know if you want to start though at the soundtrack to Babezilla.
No, that's fine. We can start where we want. How do you know him?
I much like when you asked him how he knows me. I don't know if I really recall it the first time that I actually would have known him. I think the first time that we had any kind of like collaboration or connection of any kind would have been during the pandemic. I did a Power of Gloves, a kind of a Power of Love parody based on because if you remember in the early days of the pandemic, everybody's like, wash your hands and wear gloves when you're handling anything, which the
Right.
gloves thing eventually kind of like people realize that maybe gloves aren't as an important step in stopping global pandemic as we once thought. We were so naive back then. But anyways, look up Power of Gloves. It's on YouTube, probably on YouTube, on Facebook. And he had that on his was it the COVIDiots? There's just is that what it was called? But he used that on one of his little clip shows based off a little compilation of funny little skits and stuff that people had made during the pandemic times. and then I was going to score the soundtrack to After School Lunch Special 2, but I was really, really, really busy at that time and didn't get and by the time that the actual movie was ready, the edit was ready for me to actually do the soundtrack to, I think I already had like too much broadcast responsibilities and submitted some stuff. I also at that time recorded the montage song from Babezilla 2 in Brooklyn. I went out to Brooklyn to see the band Devo at the Radio City Music Hall, and like the Live Nation pulled the plug on the show like the day before. So I was in my buddy's studio in Brooklyn, and so I was just like wrote the montage song, and then I was originally going to be in a part of that movie, and then by the time that I said, all right, I do have these montage things, like AJ had already found other music to put in that place, but it then became the montage song. I guess there's a couple montage songs in Babezilla, isn't there? More importantly, it's the one where she goes to Master Beta to learn Kung Fu. That would be the montage song in particular that I'm talking about. But anyway, so yeah, Babezilla, when the first Babezilla was nearing completion, he mentioned on Facebook, hey, does any bands I know have a song that I can use? I want to write a song real quick, and I just want the word Babezilla in it. And I believe our buddy Joe Simmons tagged me in it. So I messaged AJ and was like, oh yeah, I absolutely can do that. And that's how you get the Babezilla theme song. I had this like idea that I was already working on, and my buddy Scott Adams had recorded drums. Originally, it was kind of like a song I was developing to maybe be a continuation of my high school solo project, Joe Velvet, which was my solo project from my high school. We can get to that a little bit if you want to. But anyways, I had the song I was working on, but I'm not really a vocalist. I'm more of a synthesist, more of a producer than an actual lyricist by any means, but if because my lyrical skill probably is you get the idea of what it is in Babezilla, so that was a fun song to record. It was basically just like, wow, Babezilla, la 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 la, Babezilla. And it worked. And then when Babezilla 2 came around,
it's exactly what you need for that movie.
Yeah.
I have pulled the Power of Gloves video. If you would not mind if the viewers watch it, we can watch it right now.
Let's all watch it together. Yes.
All right, let's do this. I don't remember how, but
you'll figure it out.
Should have brought some gloves.
Share screen. Here we go. All right, we got to start from the beginning.
All right.
We do not see anything, just for the record.
You don't?
I can act out the stuff.
How do you not see it?
I don't know.
Deezer.
Why do I hate this power?
Yes, co-video. It's on Tubi, so it's AJ in chat. So.
All right. Stop screen. Share screen.
While Damon figures that out, just one quick thing. When did you decide you wanted to get into music the way you're doing it now? Because clearly it's a passion for you. Like, it's so much of what you do. 13 music videos isn't nothing. I mean, come on.
Do you see
how many music videos?
You've done how many music videos? It said you said 13 or 20.
No, I didn't say 13. I said it was minus. I don't know. I didn't really do the math on that IMDb. I've produced or directed probably like 200 music videos. There's a lot of music videos, and I
misheard the number. Then
I'm including my own videos for my own projects in those counts. Some of them I don't count. Some of them I do count. It depends on. And I stopped counting because at some point it's like, like at one point there was like 12, 13 years ago there was a tally. It's like, oh, actually, Hooligans by Jimmy Hooligan is going to be my 50th music video, and I've done like 12. I've got 12 more that are in the next coming out in the next few months like that. So it's like. For a while there, I actually was counting, and then after about like 75 or whatever, I've completely lost count. And that was years ago. I mean, tons of music videos. We can go into.
Sounds like me with podcast episodes. Like, there's a couple shows I have where we've stopped counting the episode count because,
yeah,
at a certain point, you're just like, we're here. It's a number.
Right, when you do the first one, it's like, yeah, number one, great. When you do that your first season, it's like, all right, 10 episodes, this is great. And then eventually it's like, okay, there's no real point in keeping track. But to answer your question, when did this start becoming a thing or whatever for me like that? I don't know. It just always was. I mean, like going back to, when I was a young child or so like that, I had like those like Yamaha keyboards, like the little like program PRS keyboard ones like that, it would have like little demo tunes that would play like, I think the one I had played like Hey Jude and The Way We Were. Is that the name of the song? Do 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 do. But it would go through all the sounds, like the dogs barking and like laser sounds and the piano sounds and the organ sounds. But we would like friends like that, in the neighborhood like that would take those like that, record vocals over them, use like 2 karaoke machines like that, and then play it back and then like add instrumentation like that and do crude multi-channelings from that. So I've always been making music to some capacity for my entire life. It's just now I can do it to the point where I'm
let's try this. Let's try this.
All right, let's try this. Here we go.
All right.
It works.
There we go.
Yay!
Now, how do you play it? Now that it's up there.
But how do you start it?
I don't know. I would try to help and tell you what to do, but I can't see. So,
Is it going?
Yeah, now it is.
Okay.
COVID-19. Wash your hands first before putting on those gloves. More than a feeling, it's the power of gloves. You don't need handshakes. Stay 6 feet away. Don't touch your face 3,000 times each day. Social distancing and flatten that curve. It might just save your life. That's the power of gloves.
Oh, that's phenomenal.
Those were such simpler times. Remember when all we had was washing our hands and sanitizing our hands and hoarding toilet paper?
That was the first thing I remember is people hoarding the toilet paper. I love how you have it in the plutonium box. You got the toilet paper in the plutonium box. It's great. Oh man, that is. There's so much about that. This quick, like minute-long video that is just spot on. Fantastic.
Fun fact: without the COVID pandemic, me and Damon probably never meet.
That's true.
Yeah.
Are you as big a fan of AJ Chambers as I am, sir?
I don't see him here. Let's talk bad about him. Let's
do it. What do you know? What's the dirt?
Here's the dirt. He likes soda.
Oh man, he's one of those.
So do I.
You like soda? I like soda. I mean, I guess
water.
It's not.
Coffee, water.
I mean, water is mostly soda, right? Or soda is mostly water.
No, water's mostly soda. You're right.
Yeah. Water, I mean, the world water supply is like 12% soda. Right? That's what I heard.
That sounds. You know what? I'm not even going to fact check. We'll make a correction on a later show.
But okay, so anyways, going back to the Babezilla soundtrack. So I did the Babezilla song for the first Babezilla movie, and then and I don't know if when he was doing Babezilla 2, if I said, hey, let me do the soundtrack, or if he went to me. I don't recall. But that was a fun soundtrack to do because, I had time between the time that he actually had the movie shot and edited like that, I had time to kind of then look at the shots and then like just call up some synthesizers and just like, for like the cyber skanks that have like more of like a weird experimental, like 1950s laboratory kind of sounds. But then for like Momzilla, I go for like a softer palette of stuff, and then there's like, like the, Clint Beaver's character like that, and kind of like TR-808 porn music for that, and
right.
Then,
now, was there any? Because AJ is a musician, he has a fine voice, and he plays a fine guitar. Was there any stress involved in trying to create something and being on the same wavelength as someone like AJ, or is he pretty like, I trust you, just give me what you got?
I feel like normally he just kind of trusts me to do whatever. Honestly, I know that he used to play in bands because I recall briefly. I think it's when I used to work with a sister at Channel 7 like that. I remember her like mentioning that they were like playing more cowbell by knocking on beer bottles during one of his shows. But I've never seen him or heard anything that he does musically. I don't believe. So maybe we should take that.
He says.
Yeah. So I'll pull out the 808 and we'll get to the more porn music immediately. For
Oh, I
reasons.
was going to ask you earlier. Could you replicate the Shining soundtrack with the synthesizers that you have?
I could, I suppose.
It's never occurred to you to do this?
Not really. I mean, if you listen to the Hail to the Chief music that I did for the presidential scenes and Babezilla 2, I did that very much in the style of Wendy Carlos's classical music from A Clockwork Orange.
Yes.
So there is that. So I suppose for the next Babezilla, maybe I'll do it in the style of Tron, and then we'll kind of work up to till Shining.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. I was like, there's got to be enough equipment in that room to replicate.
There is, yeah. And she did use, I think, this like GDM music computer, which is a very weird, rare thing that only like one or three have ever existed like that on that score a lot. But I mean, I do have like this little synclavier over here like that, the synclavier regen. The synclavier was like the instrument that was most famously the gong sound from Beat It, but it was also on tons of movie soundtracks.
I love that sound.
Music. And they created this little smaller version that you can, that's you can purchase new versus like trying to find an original from 40 years ago. But I use that one a lot on stuff because it's, if you look in like the movies like Blue Thunder, that was the War Games, the soundtracks of those were all synclavier, however you want to pronounce it. So I would use that. That'd be the closest towards that thing, towards the Shining sounds.
All right, so we're looking here. This is the room that you're currently in, yes?
Yes.
A lot of people would say, why? Why do you need all of this stuff? It can't possibly all do different things. What do you say to those people?
Well, I say, why not?
There you go.
That's a good answer.
I mean, yes, everything does do something a little bit different like that. Do you need all those things? Absolutely not. But is it kind of fun to have options? Is it fun to like be inspired by your surroundings? And, like maybe if I pick up this little machine or this little box or this little synthesizer, maybe I'll come up with a sound that I wouldn't have thought of otherwise. And maybe that'll kind of like lead into, a different idea or a different line of thought. And to me, it's all about sparking ideas. Right, because if you get a couple ideas sparked, you can certainly then further develop them like that. But otherwise, if you just kind of, step into a room and sit in front of a piano, and that's all you have, and you've got a notebook in front of you, you might get a little writer's block. So I kind of like to be, just to kind of like stimulate creativity. A Juno 106 is going to sound ever so different than like say a Prophet will, and that how you interface with that machine and what you effectively do with it will change accordingly. So that's what I say to those people.
So we're looking at this room. I see you've got your Shining shirt on in this room. You got your Shining floor mats. Now looking on to your right side, you got a wall of knobs.
Yes.
What do these knobs do?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of knobs, a lot of them like that. But if you're talking about the silver modules, those are Eurorack. So basically, it's a modular synthesizer format. So it's kind of like, think of like Legos, but for like sound development. Each module, each block has a function. Either it'll generate sound, or it'll create a voltage that will then further process sound, or it'll filter sound. So then it's a matter of like how you assemble all those together and how you patch them in basically determines what they do or what sound you're creating with those.
I can imagine what it looks like behind that wall. And how the fuck do you know where everything goes? And would this be an absolute nightmare to take apart, move, and recreate somewhere else? And do you have them on custom rack? I mean, I'm trying to wrap my head around this floor to ceiling gear, guys.
Yeah. And how do you know where everything is? Well, you just eventually kind of you get to know where things are. And with it being floor to ceiling, I mean, like there's definitely a sweet spot where like the stuff that I'm actually using is generally more central, right? The stuff that's too high, that if I want to go grab those modules out or pull them down, I can. Or if I want to pass something up and use it there, then I've got a step stool in the other room just to use with this system. But I mean, if I'm working on a particular project, I can set stuff up on the above areas like that, or where else I can bring a module down and work with it a little more central. And that's an older picture. I mean, it's changed a lot. Like, kind of there's more stuff in here, but it might look a little more open at the moment, which is kind of like a little magic trick that you have to kind of do.
Yeah, I mean, I find the whole thing fascinating. What's in the middle? It's kind of like just a table, or
there's like this pink table, and then that's like a 360. Oh, you can see the little stool there. That was kind of like what I used to get up and use all the stuff that's outside of my own reach. And that little white keyboard that's right behind me, that's the Waldorf KB37. It's basically a Eurorack case in keyboard form, which is nice because like if I'm going to play a few modules out live, I can put them in that case and have it in a keyboard instrument, and then I can show up and actually have a keyboard that has however many modules pre-configured to do whatever. But that now I can see what's in the middle there. Yeah, that was it was a mic stand with a little metal bracket that would hold patch cables. I can see the patch cables now.
Okay, yeah,
that's what that is. The very center. Those are kind of nice, but also it's one of those things where it's always gonna look like messy and chaotic. Not that there's nothing chaotic or messy in the studio at the moment like that, but I mean I stopped carrying my patch cables like that. Now I keep them in like little bins underneath my desk behind me.
Is the doorway on your left?
Yes.
Okay. So right before that huge wall of keyboards.
Yeah, that's the doorway.
All right.
And believe me, if I could cover up that doorway with like more synthesizers, I would.
I'm sure that's true.
I'm surprised the wooden wall behind your desk there isn't covered with stuff.
Well, and it kind of is. I mean, there's this rack here goes all the way.
And then on the other side of the camera there.
Oh, on this side over here?
No, like in front of you.
He's talking about the wood grain. The
wood grain.
That area, yeah. Okay, yeah, that is not. I mean, there is more stuff in that area right now than there was in that picture, but not directly in front of me. I feel like I need at least some balance and can't just have everything like wall to wall gear.
Now, Ben, what you're looking at here, you could create the entire band. I mean, you can do drums here. You could do, keyboards. I'm assuming he's got all kinds of patches for every guitar and amp known to man. Just a phenomenal setup. Thank you for sharing that with us and talking a little bit about it. There's many more pictures that I think I grabbed like 12 photos from your Facebook. Okay. Let's talk about some other folks that we have in common. I'm glad that you have the ties to AJ. I think that's probably the biggest reason but you also have ties to somebody that I've met, but I don't really know personally, but I know of, respect, and completely admire everything about this gentleman. And I found this is my favorite picture that I found on your page.
Yes, Higgs.
And this is, correct me if I'm wrong, 2-time Nebraska Music Hall of Fame artist Derek Higgins.
I don't know how many times he's in the Nebraska Music Hall of Fame, but 2 times sounds right. I mean, he's absolutely a music legend. You're not going to find anybody who's much more of an Omaha music legend than him or Chip Davis or et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, Derek Higgins.
So I reached out to him for an interview one time, and he was like, yeah, I'll do whatever you want me to do. But he's like, I don't think that you need me for anything in particular. And then I got to thinking about it, and I was like, dude, I would be so intimidated because he's he's on he's on this level that's like, man, I
Yeah.
just love everything that he does. How did you meet up with Derek Higgins, and what have you done with him?
The
I mean, not
first.
like he's missing or anything.
Oh
Like,
no,
what have you
he's.
done with him?
What have you done with him? Like that? I don't know where he is. He's certainly not like in the shed, in a but no, yeah, Higgins is awesome. I think the first time that I got a chance to work with him, I don't know, keeping track of like years and dates at this point is becomes impossible. But it probably would have been about 20 years ago. Our buddy Nick was wanted to start working on music and started doing some music, and they started kind of like assembling people that would to play in his band like that. And there was a brief window where I was in his keyboards, and then Derek came in his bass, and then that band became the Family Radio, and then Nick eventually went to start the band in Dreama, which Derek and I play in, and then Nick is also in one of the three members of Icky Blossoms, so he's kind of kept going on and working on more and more music projects. But that would have been the first time that I believe that we actually worked together in a music project. Would have been as Nick was kind of like getting a sense of like what his musical aspirations were, or how to assemble a group of people to bring ideas to play live.
Now, what you have in synth gear, Derek has in vinyl
Oh
records.
gosh, yeah, he's and he's you ask like how do you keep track of everything? I can say like, oh, the Polyvox filter's right there. He's that way with the records. I mean, if you say like, hey, what I'm looking for this record, I think it came out in 1967, and it has like, I don't know, he's was it this? Like what? Probably not. Then he pulls it out. It's like, yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking for. It's insane. And we're developing a TV show for Adult Swim at one point called Higgs Corner, which would be kind of like Mr. Rogers for music. And
Wow.
the pilot episode for that is available on YouTube, so I would definitely recommend checking that out. And then we were also able to bring that on to like the adultswim.com, and it actually aired on Adult Swim at one point, like probably like late night. But there's also a tour of my house with like the pinball machines and the synthesizers at the time in the pilot episode. But that was fun, and it was the idea being that you call them in and it's like, hey, I'm going through like a breakup, or I've got a new promotion like that, and I'm what's a good song to kind of help me deal with these emotions, or to help to kind of like pump me up, and he'd be like, oh, you should do this, and then and pull out a record and put it on. It's like, oh yeah, that's absolutely the record that you need in that situation. Like he's a computer of what you're going through and what you need to hear on vinyl, effectively.
Yeah, I think it might have been 2020, like during the pandemic. He would go live on like Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
and he'd just have a stack of records, and and I'm like, I don't ever want to miss one of those shows, I guess. And it was all shit I've never heard of in my life. And I'm just watching him, and he's like knows every artist that's on it, everyone that played on it, the significance of every song. And I'm just like, man, this is a guy. And I mean, Jim Homan produced two of the Kill Bosby records, and he was in the group with him. And I think one of my most favorite things ever was he played a show with Derek. I'm not even sure what band it was, but Jim was wearing a Kill Bosby shirt, and I'm like, all right, we made it. Like, that's it, we made it. And I was like, this is the greatest day ever. But I'm thrilled that you get to work with him and that you actually know him. I mean, I didn't know how I know you played with him, but I didn't know how deep that went. But I also saw pictures of him walking around the very room that you're in, and he's like playing with knobs and stuff. And I'm like,
He's actually sat right there, guys. Can you believe it? And there's So they're on YouTube. If you look at his channel, if you look up like Derek Higgins, Aaron Gum, there's a couple performances that we would do on this wall, and I think that was like an Omaha Under the Radar thing. It might have been kind of during the pandemic when they couldn't do it actually in person. So we recorded I put like little GoPros in different corners, and had a few different cameras to kind of like cut between like the live shots after the fact, And then but there's my basement. That would be during glow in the dark rehearsal.
Yeah, I was like, what's going on here?
You can tell it's glow in the dark rehearsal because I've got the the synthesizers set up down there, and you can also see the glow in the dark logo on the TV screen. So that would have been we're to practice, like what the visual projections were.
So we will definitely talk about glow in the dark here in just a moment. Me not knowing what that photo was is what led to that. But what's going on here?
I one of the things about being the guy that everybody knows, like we're like rooms full of synthesizers and stuff, is you get interesting opportunities. One of my opportunities that happened a few years back was I got to go down to the Lincoln Public Library as part of the Poly Music program and teach synthesis. Basically just do a class on synthesis. So I thought, I should probably do a photo, very much into the Woody Carlos, Walter Carlos Switched on Bach album cover, and to promote the actual event, and that's what that is.
It's a different shade of blue, but I give you credit.
It's a good royal shade of blue.
Yeah,
right?
I give you all the credit. I mean,
but also like, when can you buy like a powdered wig as like a tax write-off? Right?
Exactly. Well, and my favorite part about this is, of course, the shining pattern behind it.
Oh yeah. There's the towel. Yeah,
that's phenomenal. I am just enamored by all of that. What the hell is this?
What is it?
This.
I don't see
what
anything.
The hell is this?
Oh yes, that would be the one of the shining board game actually.
I can read, but what is it? Like, have you played it?
Are you aware that exists? Because
I was not aware this existed until I went through your.
It's actually pretty cool. I mean, you should try to find it. I don't know if it's still in production, but it's one of those board games that like because like there's a bunch of there's board games for like Aliens and Goonies and all kinds of stuff now, and usually when you go there's like 3 different Back to the Future board games. I've got them all. And when you're going through the rules, it's like, well, what goes on now? How does this make sense? But then by the time that you finish playing once, you get the rules down. You're like, oh, okay, I understand it now. Now it's gonna be so much more fun when we play it next time. But then you never get a chance to play it again. So I've only played that game once with my family, and maybe when you're in town, maybe we should try to get.
Yes,
yes.
And
a couple of online board game stores do sell it currently. So,
I mean, I immediately went to eBay and I found one.
What do they going for on eBay
It's
now?
like $15.
Okay, well that's good. Yeah.
Sometimes
they're
Aaron, would you say this playing time is accurate? According to this website, they say it's between 45 and 60 minutes. Would you say that's?
That probably makes sense. And up to that point, the first 43 minutes, you're just still figuring out the game mechanics. Like, okay, so the tokens do this, and the hatchet does this, and then that's when you finally get it. But at that point, somebody's won, and then you're like, all right, we'll know this next week. And you never see it again.
We'll rinse and repeat. Yeah, I'm 100% in for that. All right, what do we got next? Did we already show this one? Sorry, these pictures are so small. Yeah, we showed
it's that one. Yep. Now it's the basement rehearsal space for Glow in the Dark.
I think we showed this. Oh, no.
That would be one of the performances with Derek Higgins that I was describing.
Yes, there's Derek there. He's
and their video of that does exist on YouTube. If you look up, I don't know, you probably just look up Aaron Gum and Derek Higgins, and it's probably on his channel, if not on Under the Radar's channel.
I will definitely be subscribing to both channels.
As well you should, especially his channel. I mean, he does, if you look, it's called Higgs Gum 3 Modular Synth Improvisations, June 12th, 2021. But the video does exist on Derek Higgins' and there's also I see there's another one for Under the Radar that I did at the Kaneko downtown, where I'm doing visual synthesis behind him, and that's also on his website. And I've directed some music videos for him, and you can find those on his channel, and those are pretty fun. And
Yeah,
occasionally
phenomenal.
I'll either play with him or do visual synthesis behind him, like that is DHX.
And guys, if you don't know who Derek Higgins is, gosh, maybe he's a future guest on the show if I could get up the nerve.
Yeah, I mean, totally.
He's just fascinating. I would love to talk vinyl with him. Do you collect vinyl?
I don't. I don't have a turntable at the moment, but I do. Occasionally, we'll buy like if there's a like a limited edition vinyl that I see that I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be so sad if I don't have that. Like the Reanimator, Crash, Videodrome. I've got those on vinyl because when they came out with like the limited, like the Mondo releases, it's like, oh man, I've got to have that.
I
Knowing
get
that
that.
at some point I'll be able to play it, but it'd be a shame to buy a turntable and then suddenly it's like, oh, I've missed up the chance to have these like beautiful soundtracks and their ultra limited runs.
Right. 1 out of 500, colored, special packaging. Yeah, dude, I'm huge into vinyl. Well, that kind of ruins my question of what don't you collect. I noticed the Optimus Prime Lego. I mean, how do you be a child of the 80s and not buy that?
Yeah,
Even
it's
if
like
you're
how
not
do you got to see like, okay, how do you make something out of Legos but that actually transforms? Like how does that work? And like it's interesting how they make it work, which is really really cool.
Yeah, and just we're simpatico on that one. Let me clear out my background for just a moment.
Hey,
I got them both right there. Oh, they just released Soundwave though. Did you see that?
for Lego?
Yeah.
I did not see that.
Yeah, dude, it's pretty dope. I'm gonna have to find it and show it to you now. But
Have you seen like the self-transforming ones that they have now?
the no, tell me
Well,
more.
they're not Lego, but there's like
Oh yeah, then yes, and
like yeah, like there's I think like Soundwave and Optimus Prime both have one like that. It's like $1,000, but like
but it's so cool. I
it self
think
transforms. Like it's like how does that work? Like from a robotics mechanical point of view, it's like you kind of fun just to have that, just so you can marvel at how they actually made that work. Because when these things were designed as like as like a toy commercial in the '80s, they weren't wondering how could you actually make this into a mechanical device that actually does all this stuff on its own.
so. Just to be fair to you, Aaron, my goal of having you on this show was not to make you go out and spend $170 today. But at the same time, I won't be sad if I see this on your.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at it on the Lego site now.
Holy shit, dude. It's
What?
dope.
It is
It's
pretty.
fucking dope.
I wonder
And-
if Surreal knows this exists yet. He has to. He's usually ahead of these things before I am. I'm going to send it to him right now.
But yeah, that has to be added to my collection at some point. But
Somebody
definitely-
else you could look into for your show at some point is Zach Surreal Hennings from the.
Oh, dude, anybody that you recommend, man, I'll definitely figure out some shit to talk about.
So, because you're not from Omaha, but we're in Omaha for a window, right?
Yeah, 2003 till last year.
Okay. So you're aware of the band Noise Wave then, but probably weren't really there for like their peak of like selling out the Ranch Bowl and stuff.
Right. Ranch Bowl pretty much I was a thing for like the first 3 years I lived here. Played there a couple times. Great venue. But yeah, it disappeared pretty quick.
Yeah.
And they got a documentary about them.
They do, yeah. But anyways, like the band Noise Wave would have originally got their name based off of Soundwave.
I like it.
Yeah. So, and that's all you need to know. That and I did like tons of music videos for him back in the day.
Like a million?
Well, not a million, but probably like 6.
If you had to guess somebody, who wrote that? Who wrote your bio on IMDb? If you had to guess.
You know, that's just a weird thing because it has to be somebody that would actually. I'm assuming they have to have an IMDb account to even put that in there.
I would assume so. Yes.
So that kind of limits the number of people like that. And I would say I know that like Joe Simmons will often go through and update this guy did this on this movie or whatever like that. But I can't see him making that up. So I mean, then at that point, is it like somebody?
I mean, he really.
Because like there's such a particular sense of humor, right?
It really is, and especially to make the joke that you would normally eat more than your weight. That's.
Believe me, if I could physically eat more than that in chicken wings, I probably would. Although there's only one way to find out.
Dude, I find chicken wings are one of those things that like when I want them, I really, really want them, and then once I eat them, I'm good for like a month, 2 months, 3 months.
Yeah, because to actually eat a chicken wing is more. It's not just like a chicken nugget where you just like pop them in your mouth while you're like typing away. You've got to actually work at those.
The one thing that I've never gotten down is with the long bone, is to push and then pull the bone all out, and then you just have.
Oh yeah,
I've never quite been able to do that.
You gotta. I mean, they gotta be like tender enough to do. If it's too dry,
that's true. That's true. That's true.
It's like the Heathcliff cartoons in the '80s, where he would just like take an entire fish, and then like have this like perfectly formed fish skeleton, discards,
Heathcliff, dude. Ben's like, yeah, I got that. Have you ever seen the cartoon, Ben?
It's
He'll
like
a whole fish.
It's like
he'll have hands. The cat has hands. He takes the whole fish, puts it in his mouth, and pulls out the perfect bone skeleton of the fish. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got thanks for the wing tease, Dick. This is Frankie J. He's the proclaimed co-host on the intro music. And he's from Buffalo, so he knows a little bit about wings.
Ah, yes.
And he's closer to the real deal than any of us, so I don't know why he's pissed at us. Just fucking drive there and get some, Dick.
Man, I want to get some wings now.
I know, right? I want us to eat our weight in wings together while we're playing the Shining board game. Sitting on a mat of the Shining carpet. That's what I want to do. That's what I envision us doing.
What more could one want in life?
I mean, yeah. Sorry, I missed this one.
Hey, there's Higgins.
I love you, Derek, and I want to interview you, but I'm terrified to do that because I would just freeze up. And it's not that you're anything different than anybody else that I would have. It's just I have so much respect for you, and I would be like just one of those things, Aaron, you know what I'm talking about.
I do.
He calls you the wizard. That has to feel good. That has to feel damn good.
It does, and that is until I get pitchforks and angry villagers forcing me out of town or burning me at stake. Then it's not as good. But
did we go through all the? Hold on, there might be. What is this? What's happening here?
Oh, that would be when Glow in the Dark won our first OEAA, the Omaha Arts and Entertainment Award.
That's a good segue into Glow in the Dark because I definitely wanted to get to this.
Because my bandmate Lawrence said something, was funny, like, oh, I got to thank the Illuminati for getting us here, and I was like, mine was like, we had just lost Jacob Teal from The Faint. I used to do video projections at Goo dance parties, at Slowdown like that, and that he lost him like, I don't know, it was like a week or just a few weeks before the actual OEAA thing of that. So that look on my face there is like, you know, saying, hey, it's feels sad to be in this exact same spot where I used to, predict visual for dance parties and all this merriment, and probably saying something like, keep your friends close while you can, or something like that.
I love that jacket, by the way. I
I
just
mean, that
realized my
is,
mic was
dude.
muted.
I was just gonna bring that up, Ben. There's actually a comment from the Facebook page that I took this from, and I wrote it down. And it says, and I quote, "That jacket is everything."
I'm not wrong.
uh, it's it's Pac-Man, guys. By the way, or
Yeah.
Ms. Pac-Man. I can't tell, but
And
no, it
believe
looks
it or
like
not, I,
Pac-Man.
I actually have two completely different Pac-Man suit jackets. Like right now, it's winter season, so I wear my winter one with with more of a frosty snowflake theme.
Was this custom made?
No, it's not. It's just one of those things that if you find the right corners of the internet, you're like, oh, okay, I need literally everything on your entire product line.
Uh, I love. I mean, obviously love it, and of course, when I was looking up the Shining video or not video game but board game, I found shirts that go up to my size with the pattern. So I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get that. You'll
That's
see that on the show. I'm gonna
excellent.
do that.
It's the one downside to being a little bigger size these days. Is like a lot of the coolest shirts like that, they cut off at large or something like that. It's like what?
I
You
know.
know,
It's like, do you not understand? The people that want to wear this are
exactly.
ginormous. Like, there's no nerds that are not ginormous. Come on,
Probably like if you're ordering
Ben.
shirts for like bands or anything like that, for your own band like that, make sure to get like plenty of like 2X, get 3X. Make sure that you've got make sure you've got bigger fans covered. Otherwise, it's
Can we put Frankie's comment on the screen about the jacket? Because I have a response to this. Frankie, you would wear whatever Pink told you if you had a night out with Pink. Let's just be so
fair.
honest with ourselves.
It's fair.
it would get the party started. That's for sure.
It's a conversation starter.
It actually no, it is a really good conversation starter. Yeah.
The follow up.
If
All
Pink
right.
told you to wear a tutu, I'm confident you might consider it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if it is complimentary,
Well, we were just let's talk about Glow in the Dark. You said that was your first award. Did you win multiple awards with these?
we did. Although, and just the sheer irony and tragedy and of how the universe works. The second one, I was up there with Lawrence's daughter because that's after we already had lost him.
So, and just, obviously being delicate here, you went from him announcing and then having to go through that sadness the first time while he was with us, and then now the second time, like, you're really now in it. And
yeah.
we talked about this a little bit before the show, guys, but we actually both knew Lawrence quite well. Lawrence was in a band called Civic Minded with Phil Reno and a couple other fellows from the area, and I think I want to say it was 2007. They were recording their album Sequence at the big studio in Omaha with Jim Homan, and our studio times crossed paths with each other. I think Icarus was recording at the same time too. It was just like a lot of like cool people that I met that I knew from the music scene, but I really got to like kind of hang out with them while we're just waiting for each other's sessions to end and swap out. And Lawrence came to me and he said, "Dude, I like what you're doing with the harmonies on this music, and I would love it if you would do some harmonies on Sequence." And I was like, "Whoa, dude!" I'm like, "You got to go ask the rest of your band because I don't think that you understand that if I do harmonies on your song, it's gonna sound like Kill Bosby. Like it's." And it never worked. It didn't work out. I don't want to say it never worked out, but I think once he thought about that for a minute, he was like, "Yeah." And they made the right call. I'll be honest with you. I would love to be on that record because it's one of my favorite records of all time in Omaha. But they made the right call. My voice on there would have made it sound like Kill Bosby, and that's just not they had a way cooler, way cooler sound, and you probably enjoyed that because of the cool. There's a lot of cool synth work on
Yeah,
that
there's a
record.
lot of.
When did you? And that was like I said, 2007. Did you know Lawrence at that time? I don't know how far your
Yeah,
relationship goes
actually.
back.
And actually, I actually goes back even further than that because like I when I first worked with him would have been when he was in the band Gauge, and at the time I co-owned a hip hop studio in kind of North Omaha. You know, there was a bunch of us like that. You know, they like I focus on like the visuals and videos, like album covers and videos and stuff like that, and my other partners, you know, focus on recording and producing beats and stuff. And somehow I think he, well, actually, you know, I think he came to me because I did a music video for the band For Never for a song called Divine Immortal, and then like Matt Kuchera from For Never was telling me, it's like, oh hey, there's this kid Lawrence, you know, he's pretty good, you know, you need to meet him like that. And then like met him, and I did the album cover for what was it, Sunshine and Happiness? Is that what it is? Anyway, so I did an album cover for Civic Minded with a much younger Lawrence. You know, this is going back like 25
Right.
years, it's 24 years ago maybe. And then a few years later, did a music video for his band Canonista. The first video that I did with him was called Neon Lights, and that's on YouTube. And then we did another video for Canonista for If You Believe, and that was kind of like the big video where we just like threw like everything we could at it and got as many people involved and have a guitar solo up on a downtown parking garage. And I was like at the time trying to rig like a camera crane thing to do. Yes, then there's Ryan with like, you know, some of his bands. But I was trying to get a camera crane to kind of like, you know, because this is before you could have like consumer drones. So it had like a camera to like follow around like the November Rain guitar solo on the in Omaha. And
Right,
on like
right.
but, so we did that, and then I did a music video for Civic Minded's The Vandal. But again, these are all on YouTube. And then many years later, in early 2016, I did a music video for his band at the time, Jump the Tiger. And that's kind of what led to Glow in the Dark. We, no, the guitar player, John, wanted like, you know, like I want like, you know, wanted like the raw, like close-up shots of him, of the playing and stuff. And like Lawrence is more like, I just want more like kind of like abstract ideas. So I joked that, well, maybe we just need our own band so we can do our own music videos our way. You know, and then he was like, yeah, actually that'd be cool. And then, you know, I was like, oh really? Okay, cool. Well, so I just sent him some like, you know, just basic like, you know, synth demos, and some of those became some of our earlier Glow in the Dark songs.
How do you, you know, you've been in a lot of bands, you've been in a lot of groups. How do you manage egos in the bands when one band member wants to go in this direction, somebody else wants to go in this? I mean, no matter what art form that you're dealing with, where there's a combination of differences, how do you manage those types of things?
Well, I mean, that's always going to be an issue. That's why I try to like stick to bands with like 2 or 3 members. You know, that way, you know, if you can't like rock paper scissors, you know, in one round, you know, it's probably not worth doing. But for the most part, like Lawrence and I were, you know, almost always on the same page. But we, you
Yeah,
know,
that really helps. Yeah.
we'd go about things differently. Like, you know, you know, we kind of like would have we'd love kind of like putting in like as much like stuff to kind of like subvert like popular culture and whatever's going on as possible. And sometimes like, you know, maybe I'd put one thing in thinking like, okay, this might be too far. And then like Lawrence is like, oh, let's push it a little bit further. And then like, oh, okay, are you sure that's where we want to go on that? But nothing.
So let me ask you this, because you know, we talked, like I said, we talked about this a little bit beforehand, just because I want to make sure that it was cool to talk about. But I kind of told you that when I listen to him, I hear all the way from like Lane Staley to Billy Corgan at times to Bono, and like I hear a bunch of great voices in his repertoire, but they're all him, and they don't sound like, it's just like he hit the level of those people, not like an impersonation. Was it his voice and his vocal talents that were more appealing to you to work with, or the fact that you guys were so compatible in other spaces, or both?
Well, it is not just the voice, because like also, as a psychotherapist, he kind of had a different take on humanity and people and from a lyrical point of view like that. I mean, like, so many of his like lyrics are just like, pretty intense, and like just the more you look into him, the more you're like, oh man, there's really so much going on here like that. But then he actually has like the kind of like the ability to like deliver these in perfect ways too. It's just yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
I just want to reiterate this comment. I mean,
and Ryan's not wrong there. Yeah, no, he's. But like any front man, there's especially like a lot of times that you're the lightning rod for the band. You're the person people see like that. I like to try to be the guy that's like hiding more in the background, But when there's only two of you, how do you do that? How do you draw the attention like that? So with like Glow in the Dark, it would be like with lighting. We wouldn't use the actual venue's lighting. We would have everything programmed to our songs, so the light show synchronizes to our songs.
Is that where the name came from?
That's part of it. Yeah, that's part of like why. I mean, that's not where the name necessarily came from, but it's one of those things where once that's the name, now we have to live up to that. Now we actually have to glow in the dark.
Right.
You don't want to be glow in the dark and then immediately.
I did have the pleasure of seeing you guys at what used to be Mike's place, and then Wendy Maloney bought it and made it to Maloney's Council Bluffs.
At the Slime Ball?
Yes. That was an AJ show, I believe.
That was. And that was the absolute last time that Glow in the Dark
performed
live together.
I was going to say, I thought that was a significant show to be in attendance for.
Yeah. I mean, we did on the April Fool's Day, a few months after he tragically took his own life of 3 years back, we had kind of like a big tribute show, and a lot of members of the band's kind of like assembled, versions of the band with other people singing like that. And I did Glow in the Dark, there, and had a few different singers due to like people backing out. And I think we had like Matt Kuchera sing a bunch of songs. They had Chad Lotman from Dead Poets sing Fast Fashion, and I can't remember if I had Chad do any of the other songs or not too. Which is, curiously enough, that's the first time that I actually worked with Chad from Dead Poets. But there is even more of a Lawrence connection there, because the two of them were talking at our album release show and about like, hey, we should totally work together on something in the future like that. And then I'm just kind of going all over the place here, and I just kind of a little scattered. What was the question?
No, it's fine. I was going to ask, did you guys have anything planned as far as releasing anything that you weren't able to finish? And
well, it's funny that you should ask that, because the day after Christmas of 3 years ago, I get a message from Lawrence. He's like, hey, I've got some new songs, and I've got some ideas, and it'd be nice to kind of start like getting more material together like that, and start like maybe booking some shows out in a few months. So he came by that day, and we worked for a little bit. Then we had to go, and then he came back the next day, and we worked a little bit. And he wanted to release an album called Sweet Nothings by Valentine's Day, and that didn't happen. However, it's going to happen now. This is I think I kind of like teased this on the Glow in the Dark page last week, but I've been working on this material, and I'm going to release the next Glow in the Dark album, Sweet Nothings, by Valentine's Day of this year.
Wow. Now, so you said the day after Christmas he started this.
Yeah. Well, we also had songs that we had been.
Okay.
And it's not as there's only one song of note from those 2 days that we really worked on. The other stuff is all post Teen Line, because our first album was basically a double album, Teen Line Erotica, and so then there's a bunch of songs, because we had a ton of songs. And there were songs that didn't fit on Teen Line Erotica. Those became Reward Circuit. I released that back in November on his birthday, this past November. And then Sweet Nothings is going to be all the newer material, all new post Teen Line stuff. So there's brand new songs that were never heard by anybody, or we never played live, and that leads into something else. This hasn't been publicly announced yet, I don't believe, but
Exclusive
exclusive
clip,
here.
make it clip, Ben.
We're gonna have a show on April 11th at the at Waiting Room. And it's going to be kind of like centered around Orgy of the Dead 2. I believe there's going to be a screening of the film, burlesque, and Dead Poets will play, Smoke Break will play, Mike Fantastic's band. But also I'm going to do, for the very first time, and probably the only time, a brief solo glow-in-the-dark set.
Oh, wow.
So this is going to be your one chance to...
Well, and the Waiting Room's a great venue to do this.
Yeah. And, and it's... I'm not a vocalist. I mean, I think we've already made that clear, although I believe Mike had a comment earlier about, second guessing my voice. But anyways, and also I'm going to try to do the Babezilla song live too. So that's going to be a little kind of tie.
Now you have to go if you're anywhere near
right?
this.
Your one chance, and as you can imagine, you can't just quietly sing Babezilla. You can't be like Babezilla. You got to fully Babezilla. You got to fully. So I'm kind of like practicing the physicality of how that looks like and what that sounds like, because to do like that song with any
I mean, maybe she can be on stage with you with the mask on and everything.
I would certainly be. I mean, I would,
that'd sell tickets, right?
That would sell a few, I think.
Yeah. So I don't know.
I'm glad that you're keeping the glow in the dark thing alive. Just one last question on this, and I totally understand. But you're of my age group. You grew up with the Kurt Cobains, the Lane Staley, the tragedy that you watch the artists that we grew up loving disappear. Did you ever think anything like this would happen as close to home as this? And
no, I didn't. And then shortly after Lawrence, we also lost Kelly from RAF, and it's like the same basic music community. There's so much overlapping of that, and it's like we just lost another one of our poets. And I think it's just if you look at like you mentioned Kurt Cobain, I think there's something to that. I mean, if you're the front man, if you're the person that everybody looks at, you're the one making all the words come out. There's more eyes to you. There's more, and there's definitely something to that. I don't know.
Well,
but that's also part of why I've got Mr. Max Headroom over here.
Yes, I saw that.
One of my favorite things that's ever been on TV was the Max Headroom signal interruption incident. And for those of you that don't know, although at this point it's been pretty big on the internet. Before it used to be this thing that only like broadcast nerds knew about. Now it's like pretty much like commonplace, I think. But a group of unknown people that have never been caught managed to interrupt TV signals in Chicago and basically go on and broadcast as Max Headroom, where they're wearing this exact mask behind me. And it's gorgeous. A signal intrusion. I mean, it's just a weird incident like that. It's just so incredibly insane. Just look up Max Headroom incident and watch it on YouTube. But I've always wanted, we used to use parts of that, with the glow in the dark shows. We'd either open shows with it or use parts of it to kind of segue in between songs and stuff. So, and I've always wanted to do a music video in that style, not in the Max Headroom style, but in the Max Headroom signal interruption style. And the song No Future has a lot of like vocal stuttering, and it's just very upbeat. I use a sample from the Max Headroom, the UK TV series, the TV movie actually, in the thing. So it's kind of made sense to do a music video entirely. I'm going to do that at some point this week. I'm going to make a music video in the style of the Max Headroom signal intrusion incident.
It's such an underused prop from the 80s.
Yeah.
With your choice of beans, chicken, beef or pork.
Well, I'm still waiting on. I ordered some empty cans of new Coke.
Oh, yeah.
Because for those of you that don't remember or didn't know or weren't born, for decades until afterwards like that, he was also a besides being on the Max Headroom show, he was he had his own talk show, and then he also was like would go on like David Letterman and stuff, and he would also shill for Coca-Cola, like Catch the Wave, and he would do these ads like kind of talking bad about Pepsi, and then like the pulled up his like Coke can and say like Catch the Wave, Coca-Cola. So
that was kind.
I'm glad you ordered
kind of
empty
like
cans, by the way.
What's that?
Yeah.
What'd you say?
They're like long since dissolved through the aluminum. Don't worry. Yeah.
I was like, I'm glad he ordered empty cans.
Right. Well, it's kind of a joke, inside joke maybe for the Back to the Future, in that it was all Pepsi that they were using in the future there. Pepsi Perfect.
Do you guys remember Crystal Pepsi? Does anybody remember that?
Of course.
I do.
Do you remember it?
Oh yeah. Well, they kind of brought it back a few years ago, but I do remember from when it was first out. I remember the commercials were like Van Halen. It was like all these like moving footage, like look at this crystal clear liquid. It's just this right now. And they were like right now, like somebody's drinking their first Pepsi right now.
Hey, yo, tomorrow. Right
There's whole
now.
YouTube documentaries on Crystal Pepsi because it was such a disaster for the company at the time.
Yeah.
Financially,
like-
it was a financial disaster.
All we did is not put in the coloring. Like
Right. That's what we did.
anyone could do this. Look at
although-
Sprite. We've been doing this forever.
Look up the SNL Crystal Gravy skit though, because they did one of their fake commercials.
So great.
The same song, like right now, and it's all like people like pouring like like this like corn syrup and it's like liquid gravy, and it's like ugh, clear
Yo,
gravy.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's
Come on.
Damon sounded surprised that I knew about that, but like,
Yeah.
I don't think you're dumb, Ben. You're way younger. So
But
Crystal
it's
Pepsi was like what, like 90s?
very much in that thing like the new Coke, except I think Pepsi was still going to make Pepsi. I don't think Crystal Pepsi was
Right.
ever like they weren't going to be like, all right, you can no longer get Pepsi from now on. It's Crystal Pepsi.
the new Coke thing is interesting because that's gone on to kind of be like re-talked about again in the last couple of years because there was a documentary on it that came out that was like the disaster of new Coke or something like that.
And then it was on Stranger Things, so a lot of things that were 80s kind of get tossed into like the Stranger Things. I don't recall Max Headroom making it onto Stranger Things, but they did have new Coke at one point.
Allegedly, Max Headroom like was supposed to get some sort of nod in Stranger Things, but it was on the cutting room floor and they canned it at the last second.
Well, darn.
That's a mistake. Dude, I know you could go to Italy right now and get a Pepsi lemon. And I'm like, why don't we have that in the States?
Yeah, why
Because
not?
it sounds gross. I
No,
drink
it's the
Pepsi every
best,
day,
dude.
and Pepsi Lemon sounds disgusting.
It's the best.
I mean, that's
It's so good.
yeah. I don't know. I mean, why don't they just like combine Pepsi and Mountain Dew and make like a new like Pepsi Dew or something, right?
Why haven't they done that? Like, legitimate question. Like, that would probably work. It would sell, that's for sure.
You get, like,
Curiosity would sell it.
Citrus Cola. It's not that far off from like a Pepsi Lemon, right?
Citrus Cola. Mountain Poo.
Mountain Poo.
Mountain
All right.
butt poop.
Let's get people on that. Top people.
Yes. People, get on it. Aaron, what are your thoughts on this?
I'm not really a pickle person or a salad dressing or a mustard.
Yeah, see, me and Aaron agree.
Are you a ketchup on hot dog guy?
Yeah, on a hot
Yeah,
dog.
me too.
Aaron gum.
I'm on Aaron's side here.
I know you are. but
Aaron's
you're
right.
But see, we need some division though. We can't be on the same side for everything.
Right. We're too
Wait a second.
united right now.
What? Ketchup on a hot dog? That's it. Podcast over. Goodbye. I said good day, sir.
We've got a split.
Well, I've never seen The Shining, so we literally couldn't agree on any opinion about that. So, because I just don't
my.
have one.
You need to see it, Ben.
How do you
Although
not-
Back to the Future is great.
Well, I agree. What can you, Aaron, give the Back to the Future in order of best to worst for the three
Yeah.
films?
Yeah. In order of best to worst, first one, second one, Third one.
I agree.
They fumbled the third one so bad. That third movie.
Dude, you can't. No, it's not so bad. It's just not so good.
No, it's not a bad movie, but if you compare it to the other two, it is like if you remove the Back to the Future name from it, it's fine.
Dude, look at all these traitors. Team Ketchup.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Ryan?
You guys just
Yeah,
don't know
all
what
right.
you're talking
Well,
about.
I don't know what the okay,
And Homan,
he's got to kind of like mediate the piece. Here,
I miss you, Jim. I love you, Jim, but
He
this
mediated
is a
the
bad
peace by
take.
calling us bitches.
This is
Well,
a bad take.
Yeah.
This is a bad take, sir.
I think you have bad takes all the time, Damon.
That's fair, but this is not one of them.
The taste buds want what the taste buds want.
I feel like
Exactly.
and I've said this a million times. If you want ketchup on a hot dog, cut it into like 8 pieces and boil it, and then you can be your 8-year-old self. Ketchup is
This is
right.
bizarre.
a terrible condiment. Peanut
Peanut
is
butter
good
on a hot dog?
Homan, we're gonna do this. I'm gonna come over, and we're gonna do this. We're gonna eat peanut butter hot dogs. So you're not a pickle guy either?
No, I'm not. No.
Pickles
Pickles
gross.
like my favorite. Like seriously, literally my favorite food on the planet is pickles.
My high school band was called the Velvet Pickles, though. But that's
Velvet.
Velvet Pickles. But that was just
If I asked you all the questions I have based off that, we would be here until 10 p.m.
Velvet pickles. All right. Jim says try it. You know what? I like Jim. I love Jim. I trust Jim. Yeah, Jim. See, there we go. So
how about a hot dog on a donut? Would that be good?
a
I
donut
think they
dog?
tried that. It didn't work.
Oh.
Like, what do you just put the donuts, like the hot dog, through the donuts
You
until
know,
you
it
have
Wasn't
a full
that a
bunch?
Simpsons
No, you
bit?
slice the donut, put the hot dog inside, and then
Wasn't that a Simpsons bit at one point?
could have been.
That sounds like a Homer thing.
I've had the donut burger at Stella's. Those are pretty fun.
All right, yeah, Stella's. I went there once and I was like, all right, you guys have this famous burger. What is it? They're like, oh, it's just 2 patties, lettuce, tomatoes, pickles, onions, peanut butter, and an egg. And I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, all right, give me that. I still have dreams about that burger, Aaron.
Oh man,
I still have dreams about it.
I don't know about that one, but every one, like once a month, I think, like the first Tuesday of the month, or the last Tuesday, or the third Tuesday, or the fourth Tuesday. I don't know.
It's a Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday, but they'll do the donut burgers, and it's basically a burger on a donut, on a nice fresh glazed donut. Oh my gosh! So
Now I want a donut. Damn it, Aaron.
So make sure you try that at some point.
I'm tired of this bullshit. A bunch of traitors.
Another ketchup, yes.
A bunch of
Yes.
traitors here. Let me stop you right there. I lost interest as soon as you opened your mouth.
Well,
That's how I feel whenever you start talking about putting mustard on anything.
Dude, mustard is such a refined flavor. Your young palate doesn't even understand.
maybe my
Aaron is older than me. He
He's older
agrees.
than me.
I mean, to each their own. If you like mustard, cool, but ketchup's where it's at.
Yeah.
All right. Coke or Pepsi? Be real.
Well, and that depends. I mean, you'll see on my desk here for my beverages, I have a Diet Mountain Dew and a Coca-Cola Zero Sugar, and that's if we're talking just Pepsi or Coke,
Yeah.
the Coke.
Okay.
But
Interesting.
if you're talking about like PepsiCo brands in general, probably Diet Mountain Dew.
Another Diet Mountain Dew. See, my brother would roast you right now. He would say, I can absolutely taste how fake it is. If I'm going to have Mountain Dew, I need to have the full sugary experience.
I can taste how fake it is, but my days of the full sugary experience and sodas are over.
Okay, but if that weren't a factor, we're saying you're a full Mountain Dew guy. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah. Yeah, I've been.
Hey, respect.
All right.
There's no
RC
wrong answer
Cola.
there.
Hold on, Jim. I have not heard RC Cola since.
Since I brought it up every fucking time we ask this question, and I'm like, RC is the best of both
You've
worlds.
never brought this up with me here. How about
All right,
that?
that might be fair, but I always say that it's the best of both worlds.
Listen,
Royal Crown.
the last time I drank an RC, it was 2009.
Well, that's your fault.
I don't think I've
yourself up to
seen an
speed.
RC Cola.
Bring yourself up to speed, bro.
Here's a fun fact of how I switched from Mountain Dew to Diet Mountain Dew. A long time ago, about 25 years ago, we were working on this movie called Walker. And for whatever reason, we reached out, we went on the news. We were like, hey, if anybody wants to help out, give us like soda or whatever like that, breakfast for the crew, then do that. And Pepsi actually reached out, like the local Pepsi distributor or whatever. And like every so often, then we would get a new pallet of Pepsi products. So there's like and of course everybody goes first for like the Pepsi and Mountain Dew, and then eventually there's just like Diet Pepsi and Diet Mountain Dew left. And so it's just like, fine, nobody else drink the Diet Mountain Dew, I guess I will. And then eventually, as I started walking, and then that summer I lost like a bunch of weight just by switching from like Mountain Dew to Diet Mountain Dew and walking. This is like, again, 25 years ago. I've put it all on, since then. But
I think I found some of it too.
yeah. But I never went back to regular sugary sodas though.
Do you know what a pop game is?
A what?
A pop game?
No, what is that?
So back, would be Northwest Missouri. High school football, you could go and get into the game on Friday by bringing a soda pop for the players to drink after the game, or there's like a dance or something. And I'll never forget, my cousin and a group of his friends brought diet chocolate soda to get into the game. And I'm like, no one's going to drink that. It's just funny and stupid. I don't even know why I'm bringing it up. It's just, I thought about that when we're talking about.
It's like the concerts that are like, hey, bring like 5 canned goods, for a discount. And you're like, okay, what's the cheapest thing I can get? All right, green beans.
Yes, you're like, here's some pickled beets.
Right. It's like, take this, food bank.
Enjoy.
Right.
Yeah, real sugar Mountain Dew's the shit, dude. Like, for me, like, if it's super cold out of a bottle, the sugar Mountain Dew, boom. Pepsi out of a... what do you call it? Out of the... Fountain?
Yeah.
Fountain Pepsi is for me. And Ryan's saying here, Fountain Dew is the best. Straight from the mountain.
Mountain Fountain, yeah.
Straight from the pisser.
The thing
Straight
is,
from the pisser.
actually, I take that back. I'd prefer Pepsi if I was drinking regular soda. Like, if it was regular Pepsi versus regular Coke. But I can't stand Diet Pepsi. And I also
It's gross.
I also can't
Diet Pepsi is awful. I don't drink Coke. I make a habit of not drinking Coke. Give me a Dr. Pepper before you give me a regular Coke, please. But Diet Pepsi and Diet Coke too, for that matter.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Absolutely.
Aaron, what's your worst food take?
My worst what?
Your worst food opinion. Like that people would just be like, oh my God, this guy. This fucking guy.
Well, apparently, per you, it's the no mustard on a hot dog.
Well, I'm an asshole.
I can confirm that. He is an asshole.
So I'll put ketchup on my well done steak. How does that sound? No,
Oh God!
I'm joking. I didn't want to get that controversial.
Click.
That's
the end of the show, folks. We'll see you. We'll see you Friday.
That was fun. That was fun. Aaron Gum, everyone.
Yeah, it's like, well,
we'll see you Friday, guys.
But no, I don't know if I have a worst food take. If I had a food take that was particularly bad, I would just keep it to myself, really.
Oh, so this is where we go off limits.
We've talked about goddamn near fucking everything else.
I know, we're like,
right, yeah.
Is there anything off limits? No, don't ask me about my food takes.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Maybe do you want to get the conversation rolling? What's yours?
Uh, pineapple on pizza. I love it. A lot of people
Go
hate it.
Absolutely.
end the show.
What What are you talking about, Ben? It absolutely belongs on pizza. You know what belongs on pizza? Any fucking thing you want.
Exactly.
Why does anyone else care?
It's your pizza. Have it your way.
Give me a break. Have it your way. Your way, right away.
Hawaiian pizza is good. Hawaiian pizza with shrimp is really good.
I've never had that. That sounds weird to me, but I would try it.
I just get Canadian bacon and mozzarella and shrimp and pineapple on a pizza.
I think the shrimp would ruin the texture of the pizza.
It depends on how they cook it. Really, I've had such a pizza at Lansky's in Council Bluffs, I've had that a few times, and I remember one time the shrimp was not cooked, and that was not a good experience. It was just but every other time.
I mean, I'm in, dude. Let's try peanut butter. Dude, come on. You can't be serious.
Holman, come on, dude.
And I was telling everybody that I trusted you, and you go and do something like this and totally redeem yourself.
Every question I want to ask Aaron is super nerdy tech shit.
Do it. I mean, go for it, man.
Yeah, that's
why he's here.
No, it's going to bore you to death, though, Damon, because you're going to have no clue what we're talking about.
I'll try to make it entertaining. Just go for one nerdy tech.
It's not about me. It's not about me. It's about Aaron Gum.
So you've worked on a lot of arcade machines. One simple question that you can answer. Do you build your computers, too? Because I know a lot of people that...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've always built my PCs.
We get along better than I even thought we did, and I thought we got along pretty good. I refuse to buy pre-builds. I think they're usually factory jank.
Oh, and here I am. What's building a computer? I don't know. I thought I was gonna not understand your question. I get it.
Damon, do you know how to build a computer? Be honest with us.
I'm actually how, but I certainly
Aaron,
understand.
I think we could teach Damon how to build a computer. I think we could make it.
Yeah, actually, I mean, it's not that hard. You basically start out with a motherboard, and put a processor in, you put some RAM in, and you connect your drives, and that's.
Do you know what he might struggle with though? The cable management.
Yeah.
Running the cables.
Here's how I build a computer. I go to the Apple website and I say, I want this. That's $900. I want this. That's $900. I want this. That's $900. Send it to me, and it's $8,000. That's how I build a computer.
Okay, Aaron, what is the most expensive PC you've ever built? I'm actually curious.
That's a good question, because I've been building my PCs for at least 30 years now, and there's been times where you're I've got to completely max out the RAM, and RAM prices in the 90s were insane, and then
they are now.
And they got better, and then and then now they're back to being insane again. Yeah, so I don't know. I couldn't answer that without looking up receipts. I'm going to say probably $2,222 just to give you a number.
So I have an opinion on this, and I side on one side of this. Do you think PC building has gotten easier?
Kind of. Things are a little. Things seem to be a little more easy now. You don't have to necessarily apply heat sink gel or stuff like that. You've got pre whatever adhesive things that need that. So I think so. The last PC that I built here was maybe 2 years ago, and that was a breeze basically.
NVMe drives have just made it so easy to
having fast drives built directly into but I will say this, and this might be one of the most controversial things besides catch up on the things that I say today. As somebody who's been building his own PCs for 30 years, I did just buy a Mac Mini that I'm going to switch over for my audio computer.
Oh,
for audio though, again, I'm an audio nerd. That's my main. Damon does all the video stuff. I'm more an audio junkie. For audio stuff, Apple kind of makes more sense if you can afford it. The problem is a lot of the casualist nerds like myself who just kind of do it for fun or do it for friends. Maybe you're not making a ton of money on it. It's hard to justify a whole nother machine just for a hobby.
But the base Mac Mini is under $500, or at least it was. Now maybe it's a little more if you factor in the increasing cost of memory in the past few months. But
Tariffs.
yeah. The thing is, when I built my last PC, I mean, I've got my audio interface is Thunderbolt, and so you need a Thunderbolt PC to build it like that. And like when I built my new PC, I was like, all right, I've got the right motherboard, and I was like, this is it has Thunderbolt. No, it doesn't. It has USB-C. It does.
You can get a Thunderbolt dock.
I think you need to have motherboard support for a Thunderbolt dock to work directly.
Yeah,
Otherwise, it's just a port, but it's not the actual interface.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you guess right.
So my audio interface, there's no way to get to work with my new PC. So then I was like, well, I'll have to use my old PC that I built to edit the movie Endor like 10 years ago. So basically, that's a ticking time bomb. Every time that you open up projects, it's like, at what point in time is that machine going to finally, I mean, usually it'll, run fine. But I've had computers to get to the point where like the motherboard or something, or the power supply or something finally like shoots out sparks, and then like, voltages short out and start like, frying drives and stuff. And it's only a matter of time before that happens. But since I'm still working on the glow in the dark stuff, I need to keep working on the PC that I started that on. So everything's still in its place.
I just want to say this, fellas. Dames Marvs does not pay for PC. Okay? He does not.
All right.
Do you have a preference in audio interface, out of curiosity? Because I have a couple brands I kind of lean towards with audio stuff, but
since
more than I do.
Since I use my audio interface for like broadcast and radio stuff like that, it's a business expense. So instead of buying like the cheap prosumer ones or consumer ones, I went with like the Lynx Aurora N, which is super expensive, but it has tons of connectivity. And it's just an interface. It's not like trying to be a preamp. I mean, I've got racks of preamps and outboard gear and stuff. So at this point, it's a matter of what's going to give you like the cleanest, most transparent conversion going out and then back in if you're going to like run stuff through outboard gear.
Sorry, I'm an audio nerd, so that was all fascinating to me.
But
again,
that being said, like the difference between like like the cheapest audio interface you can get now and the most expensive, besides price, I mean the actual difference in like noise and specs is pretty slim these days. If you're a professional and the stuff just has to run and has to work and just has to be there, and you absolutely need like 16 or 24 channels going in and out, something like the Lynx makes sense. If you're just recording at home in your home studio, get like a little Focusrite or something.
That's what I have. I have a Focusrite. I need to get a cloud lifter because you can probably tell I'm using the SM7B, which is a fantastic microphone, but notoriously quiet.
Yeah, mine's just right over there. It's always a handful away, so I can always grab the SM7B and pick up a XLR and flip on the row of.
So many people don't like this microphone now, Aaron. It is a strange, like the conversation around this microphone has changed completely. People went from loving it to, oh, it's shit. Is it because it's quiet?
I think it's because as we saw with like fonts like Papyrus when like Avatar comes out, once there's something that an entire new line of people who would have never heard of like Papyrus or MS Comic Sans, once they hear about it, it's kind of memed on. Then it's suddenly like a lightning rod for more hostility. I mean, as you get into more and more podcasts and people see more SM7Bs everywhere like that, then yes, it just becomes like more of a target for things. But I've always used good, clean like preamps like the Pacifica and like the Tree Roots over here like that. So if you have a good clean preamp with a lot of like mojo, you're not underpowering it like that, so you don't necessarily need a cloud lifter. But if Jim says a cloud lifter is a must, then maybe I should everything.
My problem with the cloud lifter is it's just so expensive. I mean, for a prosumer level product, because that's what it is, it's so expensive. Because those have gone up in price too. They used to be like $150. They're now like $200-300 in places, just because everything's gone up. But
like Jim says, like Thriller was recorded with an SM7. I mean, you look at like remember like the Funky Monks like documentary, like you see like Red Hot Chili Peppers recording like Blood Sugar Sex Magic entirely with like a SM 7B.
Yeah, people in the streaming space are switching to shotgun mics, which I think is just a stupid idea.
I mean, it's It makes some sense because those are designed to reject sound everywhere except for the narrow thing that it's pointing at. But
And they're
Like
and you don't need
if you're
as much
Brian
of a
Wilson
preamp
and
for 'em.
you've got every instrument in the world in one room, you can't exactly use an open room mic. You gotta really localize that shit. You're still gonna get bleed through, but yeah, that I mean, there's only so much. You
But
can
for
do.
streaming video games or just streaming
Right,
on
well,
Twitch or
it's-
YouTube or wherever, or like we're doing right now, a shotgun mic, you would think that would just pick up a ton of dead noise. But
yeah, and it depends on which mic and like what its area of pickup pattern would be. But and also a lot of it would depend on like if you have like a shotgun mic, and you're pointing it like right to here where you're gonna sit, and it's perfectly aimed at that area, and then you move over here into like the rejection area. It's not
right.
going to work for you, So if you're moving around and stuff, that's why the SM7 is so good because you can like kind of get over here like that and kind of say like, hey, you hear this guy talking about cloud lifters? What a joke! And then go, anyways, I'm back in the microphone now. You didn't hear that because I was all the way over here.
This guy's such a dickweed. Hey,
This guy fucking
Hey.
sucks. Hey guys, how you doing?
did you guys know that today, January 28th in 1985,
Oh yeah,
We Are the World, super group recorded "We Are the World" today's date.
that's
Fascinating.
not what I thought you were going to go for a year later.
86. Yeah, today is the 40-year anniversary of the Challenger.
That's why when you gave me a few dates to pick from like that, I was like, ooh, let's do the
You're right.
Challenger Day.
Do you want to talk about the Challenger? Because I have some information that you might not know.
Okay, and I probably have some like 40-year-old NASA jokes that weren't cool.
A
then.
lot of people don't know this, Aaron. Do you? Okay, tell me what you know about the Challenger and why was it an important special mission? And I'm not doing this to test you. I'm just everyone kind of knows, but tell the
I
story.
was of that age, and I was into like space and science and tech stuff. So I had books on like the rockets and look at this is a Mercury versus an Apollo, and I was really into the space shuttles and like when I was a kid, I think I was probably in 6th grade when that happened, and they would wheel the TV in, and you would watch every space shuttle liftoff because it was, hey, it's a cool thing. Another space shuttle is going up, and then towards the 90s, people kind of got a little bored of that, and it stopped being kind of this as cool a thing. But it was like the first time the Challenger explosion was like the first time when you realized that maybe technology can fail us. Maybe we don't have as much of a grip, on technology and outer space and like the mechanics to explore as we thought we did. It's like I think the first time that you get doubt on that level and seeing it effectively like live on TV in school is kind of
Do you know the significance of who was on the shuttle?
was what Krista McCullough, the teacher.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll tell my story real quick. I think I was in 3rd grade and I was living in Dallasport, Oregon or Washington. And they brought all the grades came together in the library. They wheeled in the TV and we're little kids. I mean, we're like, 3rd grade. And we watch it and I think 73 seconds into the launch.
Boom.
And they're telling us, they're like, this is the first teacher, and she's a female teacher. She's going to be in outer space. You guys, this is history. Let's watch this. And 73 seconds in, it just completely exploded. And I remember, we don't know what it's supposed to look like. So a lot of kids in my school were like, awesome!
Yeah, it's like a little plume of smoke, and then it's like,
and the teachers are like, oh my God, how the fuck do we tell them what they just saw? And like, I think they had to send some kids home because they were really fucked up by what they just saw.
Yeah, and the whole fact that this was like the first teacher in space, it was.
But what people don't know here, do you know why Krista McCullough was selected?
I believe there was some kind of a contest or a class that had wrote a letter into NASA or something, but that was...
They were, and this is part of the reason they hustled everyone into the libraries to watch it. They were trying to get kids interested in NASA and space travel. But here's what people don't know. Krista McCullough was a replacement for Carol Spinney, Carol Spinney
Oh,
played Big Bird
Yeah.
on Sesame Street. The reason that they couldn't send Big Bird into outer space is because there was no suit to fit him, and the seats in the rocket were not equipped, so they had to change course and pick a school teacher to do it. But Big Bird would have died on the
yikes!
space
Yeah,
shuttle,
and
and
how
a
do
lot
you?
of people don't know that.
Fun fact about like space shuttle launches being shown in schools: they don't do that without permission slips anymore because of the Challenger.
Yeah, and I mean, again, this is a newer thing for even adults. Like they didn't really know what happened, and then
Like
the
if you're
commentators
gonna
were watching, and they're like,
if schools show space launches, because they show when I was in school, the last Mars rover we sent, one of the last Mars rovers we sent in like 2012, I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. That launch was very publicized and very televised. They showed that at our school, but my parents had to sign a permission slip for me to watch it because of, and that didn't even have people on it.
Yeah,
That was just
I
a
mean,
rover.
imagine we lost Carol Spinney a couple of years ago, but imagine him watching that at home and thinking, "Oh my God, I narrowly avoided." I mean, it's just like if you missed your flight on 9/11, or it happens every day on almost every flight. Someone misses it or is late.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine living with some kind of thought
Or
after.
working at those towers on that day and happening to
Right, I'm
call in
sick
sick.
today. Especially if
Yeah.
you weren't really sick, you're just like, I need today.
Because we've all called in when we weren't sick before, right? Aaron,
I
you
had a
called in when
Monday
you weren't
from
sick
hell.
before, haven't you?
No. Yeah. Of course. Whatever.
He's like, why do you think I'm here right now?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't judge. We listen and we don't judge, right, Damon?
We try not to.
Well, you judge me, but that's not the point.
Well, that's because you pay for PC.
Well,
Sorry,
So
the
does
joke's
Aaron.
never going to get old to me. I don't care.
See, I'm self-employed and I work from home, so like, if I were to call in sick, I would know that I'm lying.
Yeah, you're like, I am such a sack of shit at my own job. Fire
Well,
me.
well, I mean, I don't know.
Ben, you probably seen the history of the Challenger, but you were
We watched. I've watched a lot of documentaries on it. I was going to say we watched a lot in school. We watched half of one in school, and my teacher said, and I quote, and you guys will think this is lame and boring, but it's kind of funny at the same time. My teacher said, and I quote, "I'm bored. We're going to watch something else instead to cover this era of space."
Wow.
And I was
Weird.
like, and it was this older, those curmudgeon teachers that like nobody liked. It was this older guy who definitely didn't like his job, definitely didn't want to be there, and was just like, "Oh, I'm bored. Let's watch something else to cover this time period."
You had a teacher named Mrs. Thrasher. And I remember one time, this was like first grade, dude, and we had the flip top desks where your books and all your papers. And
You won't
everything.
believe this, but those are still a thing.
I believe it, but I'm there and we're about ready to take a quiz, and I can't find a pencil, and I'm like, raise my hand. I'm like, can I borrow a pencil from somebody? I can't. Mrs. Thrasher comes over to my desk, flips it over like in front of
What?
everybody, and of course a bunch of pencils go flying out. But I'm like, shit. Couldn't you just like open it and like be like, look, dumbass? But no, she had to fucking embarrass me in front of the entire school. Mrs. Thrasher, she's dead now. I win. Plus, I have a pencil. I have this pencil.
I don't think living longer means you. Anyway,
I have a cup of them, pencils, by the way. Mrs.
like,
Thrasher.
Who's laughing now, Mrs.
Yeah.
Thrasher? Who's laughing now?
I think her name was Ebenezer Thrasher. I don't
Ebenezer
know. That's just
Thrasher.
what I don't know. She was a bitch, though.
We had it was either fifth or sixth grade. I think maybe sixth grade. But I had one of my teachers was his name Michael Jackson. But he was a white guy. But he did have like the Jackson 5 like
Okay, he's a white guy.
85 like jacket though. But
The Michael Jackson I know is a white guy, too. Just so you know. He wasn't in 1986, but...
no, this is
Did you guys know that in 2021. Do you remember Bernie Sanders in the mittens on Inauguration Day? Those mittens on January 28th, 7 days after the inauguration, sold at auction for $1.8 million, and that money went to the state of Vermont.
Wow.
Because of all those memes of Bernie in the chair with the mittens.
Dude, nobody knows how to capitalize on being like a joke on the internet better than Bernie Sanders.
I mean, Bernie's fucking awesome. I mean, talk about a guy who could and should just disappear into existence and enjoy what he's got left, but he's still out there fighting for people to have shit. I mean, what an amazing character. But
it's kind of a walking, talking cartoon a lot of the time, but that's what makes him great.
I don't know what this means, but
Ooh. What's travel baseball?
time travel baseball? That would fit in today's episode.
You gotta play time travel baseball.
He's got a funkin' flux capacitor. Aaron, what's something that you think is totally underrated?
Something that is totally underrated.
Of all the phenomenal things that you're in love with that I've came across on your Facebook page, what is one of those things that is...
Is it got to be something that I'm into that I think is underrated, or just something that is underrated?
Either you pick. You can give me both if you want. If you have examples of any of that, I would love to hear it.
Oh man, this is kind of tough. Something that's underrated. Here, help me out. Comments. What do I have that's underrated? I don't know. I mean, I feel like the stuff that I'm into is probably about right.
That makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah.
You're like, I have it because it's rated appropriately.
Maybe another controversial statement, but maybe later seasons of The Simpsons. It's not as good as like the classic, like, season 4, season 5 up through season 8, maybe 12, like that, depending on who you are, like that. But
go ahead.
Occasionally, there's some gems throughout that are, that are.
I think The Simpsons greatness ends at 7, and there again, like you said, there is some spots where it goes back up.
Yeah,
the greatness never ends. Okay, you can say.
Listen, I watch seasons 1 through 7 on repeat. That's what I go to sleep to.
No,
so
and I appreciate that, but that alone makes everything after it a collective greatness. They may not live up to the first 7, but it's all greatness. The Simpsons as a collective.
But also, you're grading later seasons on a curve based off of like how great the earlier seasons were, especially at the time that they were. We're not in the time that like seasons 1 through 7 happened anymore like that, and it's like to think of like how subversive they were at the time. In a day and age where like anything can fly on like Twitter, X, whatever like that. Anything can fly on a Family Guy or whatever like that. You don't have that sense of like, oh, I can't believe the network censors allowed this to get past, when there's only like 4 stations, that you can actually watch.
Dude, Eat My Shorts was a huge, that was a huge win for them to get that on television. Do you remember the Tracy Ullman show?
I do vaguely recall the shorts on the Tracy Ullman show.
They were really like squiggly and very Dr. Katz-ish, if you will.
And
do you
another
remember
thing,
USA Up All Night?
We didn't have cable, so I didn't watch USA Up All Night myself, but I mean, like friends did have cable, and I would go to their house and watch like all the USA cartoons and stuff.
With old Gilbert Gottfried.
Yeah. I don't really have any memory per se of the Up All Night, but just mostly it's like going to friends' house with cable and then like watching like the cartoons that they would have on the USA Network, and just like the little bumpers, between like the.
Another thing that The Simpsons did that has a massive impact, not to get too off topic here, but Treehouse of Horror at the time was.
Oh yeah.
Unheard of
Huge.
In terms of what they were doing, because they were blending comedy and kind of spooky shit in a way that it had been done, but not on television, and certainly not like that.
I mean, I remember watching the first Treehouse of Horror, and then like that next day at school, and we're all like, never more, never more, never more.
Right. No, that's a perfect example.
And then there's also like things that you would see in like the Treehouse of Horror episodes, especially like I mean, there's stuff in The Simpsons in general that you don't realize until you're an adult and you rewatch. You're like, oh, okay, now I get that. But like, I think it actually was the first Treehouse of Horror where like Bart as Alex from Clockwork Orange. At the time when I first saw that episode, I did not get that reference. And then like later you go back and you're like, oh my gosh, you know, how did I not notice this? Also, like, how does Bart, you know, how does like a 10-year-old boy in like 1988 like that know what this, know this movie?
Let's see. What do I remember? Gilbert Godfrey, USA, up all night. And I remember Wacky Races on Saturday morning, GoBots on Saturday morning. And, dude, just on the Tracy Element, it must have been like 89 or 90. And Aaron, you would have been a couple years older, so maybe you were not watching Wacky Races on Saturday morning cartoon. But
Also, like, that show was very progressive for its time as well in terms of the way it kind of promoted, hey, look, women are equal to men, guys. See? Like, that wasn't something that was happening on television back then, as I've heard it. Like, it wasn't happening. Period.
one of the greatest claims to fame that I have is Gilbert Gottfried just completely ripping me a new asshole, and I'm gonna show it to you real quick because I want to get your take on it. Because I mean, rest in peace, Gilbert, but this is some funny shit.
Just this Dave Mars is fucking horrible. He's a terrible co-host, Dames Mars. It's like, it's fucking torture listening to Dames Mars and Cia 3. Just awful.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I will. I always have that video queued up.
Just in case it's like, oh,
I'm like, dude, every time I get to watch that, I'm just reminded of how hilarious and important to comedy that he was.
Yeah.
Aaron, what's a dream that you have yet to achieve, sir?
Oh gosh, man, that's a good question. I mean, I have achieved a lot more dreams than I probably have any right to achieve.
I love it. I love that.
My home's an arcade. I've got like some of my favorite all-time instruments are like around and stuff. I mean, I guess when I was a kid, I wanted to go to space camp.
Oh well, do they have space camp anymore?
I don't know. I mean, going to like an adult like space camp might be kind of fun, right? Because there's the movie Space Camp, and then you're like, oh man, that'd be so fun to be there, and then like maybe something goes wrong, and then there's maybe like an alien or a. But anyways, that'd be kind of fun. I mean, I could definitely do that.
That's 100%. Also something I wanted to do as a kid, but they were already gone by the time I was old enough.
I mean, I guess I could try to get like Pepsi to sponsor me and go up to at least geosynchronous orbit.
Yes.
Isn't that what Lance Bass tried doing?
Yes.
Didn't Shatner do that?
I don't know if
he did that with 80s? Amazon. That was with Amazon.
But he's in his fucking 80s, dude. That guy's insane.
Yeah. Shatner's pretty crazy. I mean, he's still doing it. I don't know. I suppose. Yeah. Okay. That's my Space Camp. All right.
My question: is there any musicians you particularly enjoy at the moment? New, old?
I mean, there's tons of musicians that I enjoy, especially like old, when they're referencing. I mean, it's kind of hard to be into synthesizers without referencing like, Kraftwerk and my own like love of electronic music and synthesizers in general. I mean, probably started from like kind of like early like Nine Inch Nails, like Pretty Hate Machine, and like hearing like synthesizers being used for music that's poppy but also kind of aggressive, and then from that eventually like discovering Devo and Human League and a lot of these other like bands that were using synthesizers in fun, crazy ways. And so yeah, any of those that I mentioned there would be. As to people who are active now, I mean, like Devo's still out playing shows occasionally, and they did have a new album like 10 years ago, 11, 12 years ago. That was pretty rad.
That brings me to a question. So, Dare to Be Stupid.
Yes.
Weird Al.
Yeah.
Mark Mothersbaugh was like, you're a joke, and you just wrote my genre better than I ever have. Have you heard this story?
I have. That was actually on the. I think it was on one of a VH1 Weird Al thing. I do you remember that?
That's insane to me because
I-
Mark Mothersbaugh's a brilliant artist.
I don't. It's funny that you mentioned that because I actually did when I was in like junior high school and elementary school. Like everybody else was like listening to the radio and what was like all the pour some sugars on me and stuff, and I was always into like Weird Al Yankovic. That was like all I would listen to was Weird Al Yankovic, and the Dare to Be Stupid album is fantastic. I have it on vinyl. He actually had him sign it. It's downstairs. But
That's awesome.
that song, Dare to Be Stupid, was like one of the best things in my life in that era, and then hearing it in like the Transformers movie and stuff. And then like later making the connection that that's a style parody of Devo was amazing. Like eventually, because like I think my first introduction to Devo, besides like, I mean, everybody, you see, even though not having cable, you get little bits of like, oh yeah, they're the guys with the red hats and they're,
Right.
the whippet, and stuff. But I think it was the turnaround on the Nirvana's Incesticide. They had like covered a Devo song, and then like at some point, like looking back at the liner notes like that, and it's like G. Caselli and M. Mothersbaugh. What's
Right.
who are these guys?
Round about and over again. Oh,
And,
that's son of a gun. I know what you're talking about, but that's not it.
Yeah, that was Molly's Lips.
Molly's Lips, yeah.
My band Double Pickles actually played that at the high school.
Oh,
town-
Incesticide's an underrated record. How about
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
How
totally.
about that? There we go.
There's so many things that connect to the various other things like that. Like my high school band Double Pickles, we played that at the AL Follies, and we were told to change the lyrics because it's like sun shines in the bedroom when we play, and the choir director Lee Spann was like, I don't like that. You're gonna say sun shines in the yard, and my
They Doorsed you, man.
like yeah, and like like our singer Matt said the sun shines in the bedroom, not as a fuck you, Mr. Spann, we're gonna be punk rock and we're gonna do this, just as like, oh, that's how I remember the song. I mistakenly said it wrong, and they immediately cut the mics, and we keep playing, and then like a few of our fans like that start throwing things, and then like something got broken backstage, and it would have been just like this like really like horribly played experience suddenly became like went down in legend as like this like, oh man, you guys are so rebellious, that's punk rock, you just it's it's a good way to look at things, right? You get a little spin, right? It can be a terrible show, but they cut the mics and people are angry and things start happening. It's like, all right, maybe we actually did something there.
This is where you get to 2 hours and 33 minutes. This is why you do the long show. This is the story that you get when you play the long game, Aaron. Like, I'm so fucking glad that we got that story, and I don't want to keep you too much longer, but I want to ask you this.
Okay.
What's a job that you would be really terrible at?
I'd be probably really terrible at anything that's like, it's too physical and repetitive. Anything that's like running a machine where it's like just stamp this, or I gotta pick up the chocolates and put them in the box. Pick up the chocolates, put them in the box. Pick up the chocolates. Now the machine's going too fast, and anything that's like just too.
That was an episode of I Love Lucy, Ben. Black and white TV. Black and white. What about you, Ben? What job would you be terrible at?
Working in any warehouse.
Warehouse?
Like, just that's too much repetitive movement. Kind of like what Aaron said.
Yeah.
Like doing the same thing over and over and over again. Every job I've had has always had like some sort of variable of chaos. So every good job I've had has had a variable of chaos.
I think I would be maybe the worst ICE agent.
Ooh.
Oh, I'd be terrible at that.
I would just because I love people too much. I'm like, I'm sorry,
They'd be like, "Go get that guy," and you'd be like,
here's
"Nah,
my
dude."
you can have my papers, okay? Just take my papers.
They'd be like, "Go get that guy," and you'd be like,
No, I'm not going to do that.
"I'm
In
not."
fact, I'm going to stop you from doing that.
In fact, I'm gonna stand here so you don't. Actually,
And I just said that to make the political statement that I fucking hate ICE. How about that? How about that's why I did that? No, what would I be? I would be bad at anything that requires, like, I don't know. Aaron, you kind of nailed it, dude. Like repetitive, like
No.
office bullshit. It's not for me, man. It's not for me.
But at this point in my life, going to anything where I have to actually like clock in and like, show up and, work for some big mega company like that is just not.
doesn't appeal, does it?
No. I mean, if you can do what you do, but like more on your own terms, then why would you not do that?
Yeah, 100%, dude. I usually ask what I should have asked, but instead of asking you that, because I think that your brain would explode if I asked you that, why don't you tell me what you're working on now and what you're looking forward to doing in the near future that we can talk about once it's out. We can have you back and we can talk about that
Well,
for a shorter period of time.
And again, like, to bring back the April 11th show for Orgy of the Dead 2. I mean, I did the, as we discovered last week when AJ was on, I composed the score to Orgy of the Dead 2. And I will be playing not only as with Dead Poets, my band that we had a few songs in the movie like that, and Glow in the Dark had a few songs in the movie. So I'll be playing my first and probably only ever actual solo set as Glow in the Dark, and do the Babezilla theme, live. So I not every day, but almost every day I kind of go through the songs that I have like in the set already like that and just kind of do the full physicality, because I'm not the most fit guy necessarily, and I'm not the most like sing-songy guy. And when you're trying to like sing songs that were written by and sung by, somebody like Lawrence who can completely nail all the oohs and ahs and stuff like that, I can't do that. But what I can do is like find some catharsis and trying to do my version of that and bring that to a live, thing for at least maybe it's part of me moving forward into going back and doing more of my own like solo stuff. But Dead Poets, we're still working on songs. We're still writing songs. We've got a bunch of stuff coming up. We'll be playing at April 11th. We're going to be in Sioux Falls on February 13th, playing the Vampire Ball. And I think we have a March 6th show coming up. I don't know if I can talk about that yet. I don't know if that's been...
Talk about it. Another exclusive.
It's with a band that we're really close friends with. And then there's something on March 22nd that we're trying to... All right, I don't know if that's been set yet, so I don't know if I should talk about that. But and then we're trying to get something.
You can come back. We'll just bring you back.
Trying to get something lined up in Kansas City in May, I believe. That's what my the schedule looks like.
Did you ever get to see Weird Al live?
I saw him live a couple times. I saw him at the Pinewood Bowl maybe 3 or 4 years ago.
Was he doing the full
strings
parodies,
attached?
or was he doing the?
That was the strings attached, where you had the full string symphony playing with him.
Okay, so I'm gonna leave you with the story that he told at the Surf Ballroom when he was doing a show of all of his originals and not the parody music. You know the song One More Minute?
Yeah.
Okay. So that was like one of his first big songs. And this was back in... He told this story. I'm going to try and tell it as quickly and as accurately as he told it. But he goes, there was only like 5 TV channels that you could be on. And we had never been on TV. And like they asked us to be on TV. They asked us to perform live One More Minute. And they said, we need to do it ahead of time. And then we'll schedule it for this episode. You can tell everybody about it. We'll advertise it. Great. So they show up. And he goes, we're here in like a lake up to our waists in water. And we're performing One More Minute. And He's like, everything goes great. We leave. They call me a couple days later, and they're like, we've edited it down, and you're going to be aired at this time. He's like, so I tell everybody that we're going to do this show, and it's going to be great. And, tune in to this channel at this time. He says, then a couple days later, they call us and they say, look, we have a problem with some of the lyrics. They didn't clear protocol, and we're going to have to cut the song from the show, or we're going to have to make some edits, but you're going to have to approve the edits. He's like, dude, whatever. Do whatever you need to do. He's like, but you could have told us, because there's plenty of other songs that we could have done that would not have had this issue. He didn't even ask what the problem was. He's like, so, okay, well, we got it. We'll just edit it and whatever. So he goes, tells everybody to show up, watch the show. He's sitting there with his entire family and all of his band and his crew and everybody watching this live performance. And apparently the problem that they had was the line, I'd rather clean all the toilets in Grand Central Station with my tongue. So he's watching the edited video, and he's like, what are they going to edit? What was their problem? So he's watching it, and they go, I'd rather clean all the toilets in Grand Central Station with my bleep. And he's like, that was much worse.
Yeah.
He's like, that bleep was much worse than my tongue. He's like, and so like, he was like, that performance and that bleep led to like multiple millions of sales because everybody was like, what did you say?
God. Weird Al's hardcore. Let's get this out.
You just told it's like, that's the greatest fucking story of Weird Al that I have, and I want to share it with another fan.
That's a great, awesome story. That also is probably good for any high school choir directors there that think, hey, I don't like the lyrics of Sunshine's in the bedroom when we play. Let's have this band change that.
And that's when I thought about that story, and I was I got to tell.
Because by cutting the mic suddenly makes it seem like, oh man, you just took this rather forgettable performance.
You took gas and threw it on a fire that wasn't.
That's legendary. And there's still some people out there that remember that thing, and even though it was like at this point, 30 some years ago.
Hell yeah, dude! Aaron Gum, you're a phenomenal guest. I reserve the right to have you back on here to talk about any fucking thing you ever want to talk about.
Everything.
We won't keep you this long. I mean, this is the initial, but we're happy to take you for as long as you've been here.
Thanks for having me on. I mean, honestly, when you told me you had wanted to be on for a 3-hour live thing, I was like, you sure about that?
Hey, man.
See, I have the format of being three, because if it were like a traditional talk show, you got your opening, musical number, you got your opening little monologue or whatever, and then we'll bring one guest on, bring another guest on. You never just get 3 hours unfiltered live.
Well, yeah, I want people to get an indication of who these people are that I know some way or another. Obviously, there's a cinematographer that I know that I'm going to bring on here that's going to be half an hour. I'm not going to but if there's something there and people, I know people are watching this and they've watched the entire time, and I'm like, this is amazing. What an amazing format. What an amazing way to experience Aaron Gum. And even the fact that they can interact with you via the chat.
I think the interacting to the chat is awesome. I watched a couple of your shows, but I seeing how everybody was doing that on AJ's, especially last week was nice. And I'm glad that we have people interacting now like that, because it makes it a lot more excited. When I remember I was telling my girlfriend I was going to be on this 3-hour live podcast. She's like, what do you got to talk about? I don't know.
Yeah, and Ben was last night, he's like, tell me what I need to know. I'm like, don't ask me any other questions because I really don't know.
She was like, maybe you should make some notes as to so I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be here, let me read this prepared statement here. What do you know?
I always do that, and I have
but you're the host. You have to.
16 pages of other questions.
To give you an idea, Aaron, he's not lying. I texted him yesterday, and I was like, what should I know? What shouldn't I know? Something, anything, and he's like, oh, figure it out. And I'm like,
I was like, his name's Aaron Gum, okay?
I knew that. He told me something I already knew. That was the problem.
I'd say if there's anybody still watching, does anybody have any like questions? While you still have me on the thing.
Hell yeah, dude. Does anybody have any questions for
Also,
this man?
why 3 hours? Why did you like make this like 3 hour slot?
Here's the deal. Like a lot of people ask me about this, and
I asked him the same thing.
First of all, I created this thing in my head, and I'm like, I'm gonna go 10 episodes with what I have in mind. If it sucks, I'll fucking make changes from there.
Yeah.
If it's unattainable, or what's the word I want to use? Attainable and unsustainable, I'll know. But I've never had a problem getting to 3 hours, and I've never kept a guest on for 3 hours. We always have a little bit before.
I was here
well,
for 3 hours.
you were the one, because you wanted to stay through the other bullshit, and I was like, oh, okay, well, that's totally cool.
You asked if I wanted to, and I said I didn't have anything else to do.
Right. So yeah, there's that. But I kind of feel like 3 hours. This whole thing was supposed to be like a thing that you watch like while you're sitting at your office at work, and it's just like shit that's going on in the background while you're working, and it's entertainment,
Right.
or it's not entertainment, and then you can get clips out of it that you can share here, there, everywhere, and I don't know, conversation. We had a great conversation, and I think if you shorten it too much, you're gonna miss the stories that led to the Weird Al story, that led to the Nirvana cover story, and just stuff like that. That like, I mean, we could talk another 3 hours, and people will get a whole new set of stories, and eventually, people will go back and watch these.
Yeah.
Like my daughter, that's one of the things I want when this is all said and done, for her to go back and be able to be like, that was my dad talking to people forever, and like I have all of this. Like if I'm pass away or whatever, she can go back and watch these and hopefully learn stuff about me that she never would have known before, and then about people that I knew and who I hung out with and who I respected. And I just think there's a lot of things that can be true at the same time. This can be entertaining. It can be a journal, video journal for my daughter. It can be, a way for guests to get out what they're doing now, and a way for people to discover new things. And that's kind of why it could be an hour, and then it could be like every other podcast in the world. But I don't know.
I was on the Tony Box Oma pod for my Christmas album earlier this month, and or maybe not, I take that back, last year at this point. And like, he just has like really short, like little, like 18, 20 minute, like, like little bursts like that, and then maybe like he'll take another conversation like that. But that's kind of a fun, because it's like super digestible, but also, yeah, you're not getting the stories in between the stories. You're just getting the overall, like, here's the main thing that we're going to focus on for like 20 minutes.
Right. And like I have other bits, like I have things pulled up that we might not, like there's an old people eating, which is my parents, a pre-recorded thing that we did of them eating weird foods that they would never eat, and then making comments and they're old. I mean, that's what's funny about it. They're old people that are like,
you should try to make them eat the Twinkie Wiener sandwich from UHF.
the excuse me now.
I mean, okay, UHF, Yankovic's movie.
Yeah.
He makes like the Twinkie Wiener sandwiches.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Hot dog in there, and then like covers it with like easy cheese, or Cheese Whiz.
And Aaron, I have a interview show coming back in the next few months. If you ever want to come on there, you are more than welcome.
Cool.
Anytime.
He's a short former. Like,
Excellent.
That's only like 45 minutes, just so you know. You won't need to set aside 4 hours to.
and you didn't need to do that here. If you're like, I got 20 minutes, I would take 20 minutes.
I've got a possible commercial edit coming up here the second we get off, but I mean, until then,
right,
I am fine. I'm fine. That's the nice thing about being your own boss, right? You can set aside a few hours of time to be on the James Marvs show, and there's no reason not to be. I mean, look at it. It's already been like 2 hours and 50 minutes. Can you believe? Well, 49 minutes. Can you believe that?
That's insane, man.
And if this show wasn't 3 hours, me and you wouldn't have sat here and talked about nerdy shit for 25 minutes in the middle of the show.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know that you put shrimp on your pineapple Hawaiian pizza. I would never.
A few times I have. It's not like an everyday thing, but it's like I would try it again.
And the shit I learned about Jim Homan, God, I hope I never see that bastard again.
Ketchup and mustard. Some people like to walk the line. Walk the line.
All right, my friend. You guys, that's Aaron Gum.
Ah,
Aaron, you are an amazing guest. Here it is again.
hey, there
Go
he is.
find him. Where's your social media? Where can people find you? And they should
Um,
definitely find you.
I don't know if I necessarily have like a dedicated like thing other than like my Facebook, Instagram, and like and YouTube.
Yeah, I don't have anything but all the things.
But I wouldn't really put people directly towards my own stuff. I'd say look up Glow in the Dark on Facebook. I think we all glow in the dark on Bandcamp. Look up Dead Poets, Dead Poets Resist on Facebook and on Instagram. Check us out because I think now more than ever you need music that you can kind of rock out to and also have a little societal subversion and a little message of resistance and stand up against the Orwellian nightmare that everything seems to be every day of our lives.
Yeah, well, yes, and I mean, I don't even have to ask where you are politically because you're friends with Derek Higgins, so I clearly know where you where you stand, and we stand right there with you, buddy. Thank you so much for being on the show. Much love and happiness and success to you, bro. I can't wait to hang out with you. It's going to be epic.
All right, we're gonna do the whole arcade tour and an Indian food, right? Next time you're in Omaha.
And we're going to play The Shining.
Oh, and The Shining. Yeah,
Yeah, that's right.
Make sure all the pieces are still there.
Food's on me. All right. I love you, buddy. Thank you so much.
Aaron, it was a pleasure meeting you.
Awesome.
That, my friends, was Aaron motherfucking Gum.
Do we want to talk about Friday's show?
Yeah, we chewed him up. We chewed up that gum. But check this out. Friday, we have our first woman, female, lady. None other than Tina Amazing from Orgy of the Dead 2. She'll be joining us. Man, talk about another person that I just know nothing about, but we're going to have some great conversation. She's a fun-spirited gal, at least in the text chats that we've had back and forth. Can't wait. That's going to be Friday at 5 o'clock Central Standard Time. Tina Amazing.
I presume I'll be here for that show.
Yeah, I mean,
Unless you tell me not to.
now one more time, we got to show this. Go check out the Babezilla versus the Cyber Skinks Rise of Mecha Babezilla. As we found out last week, this is the second installation of what's going to be a quadrilogy by AJ Chambers, and I'm sure you'll see more music by the one and only Aaron Gum. So that'll be fun. Ben, let's talk some birthdays. We got to do this quick. Not too quick. Do you know who this is?
No. You always ask me that, and the answer is usually no.
No,
So
I know, but I'm not expecting you to know. I'm just asking if you do, and I'm not going to make fun of you. This guy's 90 years old today. His name's Alan Alda. He was in MASH, the TV show MASH.
Huh.
We talked about this gentleman earlier. You'd know who this is for sure.
I forgot his name, but yeah.
That's Frodo Baggins. He's 45. 45 today. That's Elijah Wood. Happy birthday to you, Mr. Wood.
He doesn't look 45 to me.
No, he looks 15. 17.
With a beard.
Maybe 18. But that's cool because he's going to play Frodo again this year. Or next year. He's got 2 more Lord of the Rings movies coming out where he plays Frodo.
They're doing more Lord of the Rings movies?
Yes, and I'm excited about it, so please.
I'll reserve judgment till they come out.
You like Lord of the Rings, right?
Yeah, I love the first 3.
Okay. I didn't love the Hobbits movies. We can agree on that.
No, those are hit
I
or
didn't
miss.
hate them. But now we're reverting back to Peter Jackson doing the Lord of the Rings stuff, and you'll have all of that. All those
How old is
characters.
Peter Jackson now?
He's old enough to party.
Well, that makes 3 of us.
Do you know
Hold
who
on.
this is?
Hold on. No.
That's Nick Carter.
Who?
Nick Carter. Boy band. His brother's Aaron Carter recently passed away. Big scandal. He's 46.
You lost me.
He's 46. Well, what about this one?
I'm so lost.
That's Joey Fatone. It's his birthday as well.
I like his hat.
Yeah, I like his hat too. I've met him actually. We're friends. We're friends
On
through
Facebook?
the. No, we're friends through the. Through those dudes in Jersey that do the joke show, Impractical Jokers.
Yeah.
I met him through Murray. Impractical Jokers Murray. I should have had that photo ready. Me and
To answer my own question, by the way, Peter Jackson is 64.
60. That's not old. That's not that old. I thought he.
This
would
might be
older.
his last hurrah with how long these Lord of the Rings movies take.
I thought he would be older than that. Yeah, but these movies are coming out next year, dude. The 27.
Yeah, but these might be his last two.
Okay,
is what I
you
was
got to
saying.
know who this is.
That's Greg Popovich.
Yeah, he's 77. He is.
He looks so much older.
He's amazing. I think he looks great there, dude. I think he looks like he's ready to be in a Lord of the Rings movie with Peter Jackson.
Maybe he will be. Maybe that's why he's not the coach of the Spurs anymore.
Yeah, he did. He did walk away from Wembanyama. That's crazy. Wembanyama might be one of the most.
Dude,
talented
when you're
players.
his age, though, I don't think you give a fuck anymore.
No, you won. You won what you need to win at that point.
He's also like the director of basketball operations there, so he's not uninvolved.
Who buys this first, me or Aaron Gum?
Aaron Gum.
You're probably right. I really want this. I really fucking want this.
Do you want to know who my other bet would be to buy it first?
Who?
AJ Chambers.
Really? Does he strike you as a Transformer guy?
Yeah.
Dude, I like. Okay, we're all in that age group. I mean, I didn't. I had more He-Man than anything. I wish I would have talked to Aaron about He-Man. That would have. I know he was up in the He-Man shit. Yeah, I want this. If you guys are watching and you want to buy this for me, I would gladly take it. Ben, are you more excited about the He-Man movie now or
No. I saw another trailer for it during the AFC Championship game,
Right,
though.
they were like, "Go watch the trailer online, you nerds." And
No,
then-
they showed it in a commercial break, at least up here.
I know, but it said, "Go watch the trailer online." It said full trailer online. It showed parts of it, but it wasn't the full 2-minute trailer. But also, it has like 30 million views. This trailer, dude. So
I still haven't watched it. I probably won't.
and you know, there's people pissed off about the fucking he him pronouns, and I'm like, dude, the fucking character is He-Man, and you're just missing the joke. You think they're trying to get you with the "got you woke" thing, which, let's be honest, Ben, woke just means that you have a soul. Like, being woke just means that you have a soul.
It's also like, I'm not going to get into it.
But if you're mad to the point, like, just don't go see it. I don't want to watch it with you if you're that much of a fucking douche.
Look, there's very few movies this year I'm excited for. I'm excited for Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey.
Yeah, me too.
It's gonna take a lot to get me excited about pretty much anything beyond that and Supergirl. It's gonna take a lot. Like, you're gonna have to be like Daniel Day-Lewis level talented to get me excited.
I respect that. There will be some great movies that come out this year. There always are. But
Well, there's gonna be a movie from some guy we've never heard of that's gonna be really good. Like, that happens every year.
yeah, and it usually happens towards the end of the year. Also, like right now we're kind of in a dead zone where this new movie, The Rip, with Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, is like.
What was your
everybody's
favorite
watching.
film from last year? I meant to ask you that.
My favorite film from last year? Oh man.
Because I didn't see any good ones.
I
So if you can,
watched 228 movies from 2025. Not 228 movies in 2025, but from the year 2025. So I went through the gambit. I watched everything that you can. In fact, when the Oscar nominees list came out, there was nothing for me to go back and watch. I'd already.
how many of the things on the Oscar list did you look at and say, really? Because there's always at least one where you're like,
I never really. Okay, you want me to be honest? The
Yeah.
fucking fact that the Jurassic Park was nominated for Best Pick. That's fucking ridiculous, dude. That's ridiculous. And
Well,
I
there's
love
always-
Jurassic Park.
with all these award shows, it's always there's always got to be that one like, really?
I
We're
mean,
doing that?
it has no chance of winning, but obviously I was like, yeah, why
Okay.
is that? Because you needed 10 or what, like because you needed to hit a number? I thought Sinners is great. It's a great film. It's going to win all kinds of awards. I don't know that it was my favorite film of the year. I think I probably was the highest rated film that I watched from last year, but also Timothy Chalamet as Bob Dylan was great.
I heard that's
gave
really
that
good.
super high rating, and it was an emotional rating. I think I gave that more than it deserved, but I came out of it emotional, dude. I can't help it. Sometimes I'm like, man, that movie really just hit me.
Also, sometimes when you give things, and this is something I've noticed with you, sometimes when you give things higher ratings than you usually would, it's because you're way overly optimistic about fucking everything.
I mean, you say that. I don't know that other people would say that I am overly optimistic about everything, but dude, there was just so many. Can I get back to you on Friday? I'll give you a list of
Yeah,
my favorite
get back to me on
movies
Friday. I'm
from
curious.
2025. But I'll give you my best list, my top 10 from 2025. I'll have that for you on Friday, sir.
I'll probably watch all of them and give you my own
Oh,
rank.
would you look at that, Ben? Look at what time it is.
It's 3:01.
There was so much history to get to today. How about I just give you a couple and then we'll hang it up?
I wanted to talk to you about two specific football things too.
The Vikings came into the league today, back in 1960.
Fun
know
fact,
that?
they've always been purple, but if you'd been choking for this long, I think you'd be purple too.
That's a good joke, Ben. That's a really solid joke on the spot. 1969, O.J. Simpson was the first pick of the draft out of UFC to the Buffalo Bills today.
That worked out for a while until it didn't.
Right. Until he became a murdering psychopath, you mean?
Yeah.
Today, the Lego Group patented the design for interlocking blocks. Today, you know what year that was?
Had to be.
1958.
I was going
Lego.
to say it had to be pre-60s.
I mean, Elvis's first appearance on television on the Dorsey Brothers stage show was today in 1956. The U.S. on two different occasions on today's date performed a nuclear test in Nevada. Yeah.
That's such a USA thing.
51 and 82? 82.
That's such a US thing.
And the last thing, we'll just leave it on this. There's two things here. In 1915, President Woodrow Wilson refuses to prohibit immigration of illiterates. He says, I don't care. Come here. We love you. Come here. And in 1935, Iceland becomes the first Western civilized country to legalize schmortion, which is healthcare, by the way.
Can I ask you two quick things? You don't have to give me long, extended answers here.
You're going to ask about football?
Yeah.
Go.
Two things. One's kind of a personal thing, and the other's just general opinion. One, how did you feel when that game was over on Sunday, other than you almost had a heart attack 3 times during the game?
How did I feel?
Did you feel like you were going to go into cardiac arrest at any point?
No, I was never worried about this game, dude. I'm not worried about the other game either.
You
See,
shouldn't be
actually,
worried
I'm not
about
worried about
this other game. This other game is going to be a breeze.
Here's the thing. The only time I felt anything at all during the NFC Championship game was after we won. I obviously was like kind of in shock. Not because we won, it just like, it takes a minute to set in. But when Reek Woolen made the dumbest mental mistake he had the worst 60 seconds of any corner in the history of NFL. He gave up a 15-yard penalty on a 4th down, and then he gave up like a 50-yard touchdown.
He was the
next
least
play.
valuable player of the weekend, right?
I don't care if
Him and Jarrett Stidham?
Yeah, I mean, just when your moment is that big, you got to be smarter than that. What's your other question?
And to your take on Todd Monken to the Browns, I think it's horrible.
Well, let's make a point to talk about the coaching carousel because I'll have a graphic for you on Friday. The Browns don't make good decisions ever. That's why they're the Browns. That's why people talk about taking the Browns to the Super Bowl just means you're taking a shit. I mean, there's a reason for all of this.
Look, we know this isn't a good hire. Everybody knows this isn't a good hire. Todd Monken is 60 and has never been a head coach, and there's a reason for that, usually. Not always, but usually there's a reason.
Yeah. I was disappointed at the Mike McCarthy hire until I saw the press conference. Then I was like...
I haven't seen it.
He cried, dude. He fucking broke down over the city of Pittsburgh.
Does he still have a nice beard? Like a funny beard?
He's looks fatter than I do, actually. So.
Well, he's always looked fatter than you do.
Well, thank you for that. Mike McCarthy looks fatter than me. That's a huge compliment.
Listen, I like Mike McCarthy as a person. Everything I've seen from him, like when he talks, I think I would like the guy.
All right, Ben, we're gonna wrap this up because we'll talk football on Friday. I did want to talk to it today, but we had Aaron fucking Gum on the show, dude. We didn't have a show Monday, so we couldn't talk about the game. And then here we are Wednesday, and it's still So we'll do it Friday. I have no regrets about today's show. Today's show was chef's kiss, except for the whole ketchup thing that happened. I'm not okay with that.
It will happen again, I assure you.
I'm not okay with that.
The more people you ask, the higher percentage that's going to happen again.
All right, let's do this, Ben. I'm Dames Marvs for Aaron Gum, Frankie J, and Ben Shrewsbury. I want you to check this guy out. Please, please, please. If you get nothing else from the show, check this guy out. He's in so many different things, and you'd be hard-pressed to find which he's best at because he's great at all of them. I love him. I want to have him back. And thank you for watching every of the 37 people that are left here. I love you. Please share, like, subscribe, do all the things. Ben, are we out of here?
I think we are.
You know what we got to run the Skeletor. And then we got to
I'll never understand this. All right, let's get out of here.
Then we got to play the theme music. The exit theme music. We gotta get to the jammy jam part, man. Here we go. All right, love you.